Thursday. It is Thursday night, October the 2nd. It's already October. We're going to watch a little Thursday night football, Frankie After Dark. But before we do that, maybe we want to listen to the Frankie theme song. If I can find it. Here it is.
Frankie from Flatbush rides the Brooklyn line. Got a swagger sharp like a vintage wine. Everybody knows his name from porch to stoop. Hustling dreams in every loop. In the park he struts, hits the handball wall. Echoes hear the stories when the shadows fall. Got 1,000 tales and a comforting grin. On the streets of Flatbush where legends begin. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near. He's got the rhythm, everybody cheers. Corner talks and sidewalk chalks his fame. In the Flatbush breeze you'll hear his name. Underneath the subway on the magic's real. Frankie's moves got that electric feel. From Atlantic Avenue to the urban hill. Flatbush Frankie's giving you a thrill. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Bodega lights flicker when Frankie's near, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Frankie from Flatbush got the city glow, lighting up the borough with his every show. He's the heart of Brooklyn, never laying low. Frankie from Flatbush, always on the go. Always on the go. Always on the go.
We got Thursday night football. Todd is here. Todd, how's the audio? Can you hear me? They got the beatbox going with the 49ers. Trent Williams and Mac Jones. Mac Jones is inevitable, isn't he? Todd, let me know if you can hear and see me okay out in the chat or anybody else. Got to make sure with these microphones that they're working. Let me know if you can hear me. But tonight, we're going to be watching two quarterbacks that come on to teams that are from the Kyle Shanahan tree. You have Kyle Shanahan. You have Sean McVay. They used to be buddies. Well, they probably still are. But now they're rivals in the same division. Old man Kyle and young man McVay. Can Shanahan hold on to his job? Can the 49ers withstand all of these injuries that they have? Now Brock Purdy's going to be out for multiple weeks again with his little turf toe. And so they're going to have to make do with Macaroni Jones and his noodle arm. And we're going to be doing the Frankie passing grades as well for both of these quarterbacks. And Todd says audio and pictures. Good. All right. Good to know. But we'll be keeping track of these quarterbacks. We are developing our quarterback grading system. So we will continue to take a look at that. Because we need a system in place to have for the college quarterbacks. because one way or the other, the Jets will probably be looking at getting a quarterback next year in the draft. So we need a way to tell who's really good, who's really bad, which ones are kind of good, which ones are kind of bad, this, that, and the other. So we'll have to see about that. But that's what we're doing. We're developing our quarterback system. It's been a good system so far. We'll see how Matthew Stafford does tonight. He's normally one of the best in the NFL. Mac Jones, on the other hand, is typically a check down Charlie. So we'll have to see. Yeah, Todd says you have blue skin color. Yeah, so the monitor is right in front of my face here. So when it goes blue, I go blue. When it goes white, I go white. If it goes red, I'll go red. So we got two monitors here. We got the monitor over here, which is over here where the StreamYard is, and then we got the game on right in front. Probably not a good idea for me to be watching the game, a foot in front of my face. uh, but that's the setup we have right now. So we're gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, as you see the screen changing colors, my face will change colors with it. I'm too close to the monitor. That's the problem. But that's the setup we have right now. So we'll just have to live with it, Todd. We'll just have to live with it. And we'll see how it goes. Now, of course, the Rams also have Devontae Adams. He's a former Jet. Came onto our team and did well. He did well for himself, but didn't help us win many games. So then he left and went over to the Rams, and it's probably going to help them win a Super Bowl. That's how it goes. Um, but we got about 8 minutes to game time. We can also talk about anything Jets related if folks want in the chat. We can talk about news. The Jets did pick up a running back today as Braylon Allen is going to IR. At least 4 games for Braylon Allen is the news with the knee, but it looks like it might be even more than that. So we'll have to see about that. But we did pick up Khalil Herbert, former teammate of Justin Fields in Chicago. Experienced veteran running back who also can return kicks. So nice addition to the roster the given the injury. And so unfortunate injury for Allen. But if you were watching the game, the watch along with us, we knew right away that's going to be a pretty serious injury. And speaking of injuries, the 49ers, they got a lot of them, including now Brock Purdy apparently is going to miss even more time. He had a turf toe injury, missed 2 games or so, I think. Then they brought him back for some reason. Now he's got the same thing. So he either re-injured it or worsened the injury. Not sure why they brought him back. If there was any doubt last week, there was really no reason to. But they did, and now he's injured again, and now they're saying he's going to miss even more time. So now they're going to have to make do with Mac Jones. He did do pretty well in the time that he's been in so far this year in relief. So that's why you have a Mac Jones. Mac Jones is a perfectly fine backup in the NFL. It's a perfect spot for him. He can check down Charlie his way to a win or two if you need him to, but probably not someone you want for the long term. But we'll have to see. Maybe he can make good on these starts for himself and then get a starting gig next year somewhere. I'm sure that's what he's hoping. But we'll have to see about that. This is an NFC West battle, so not too many implications for the Jets, really. Just another football game to watch and see how the referees are going to ruin this one. 2 things that are terrible about the NFL, of course, refereeing, too many penalties, too many rules, and, of course, injuries. The injuries are just it's kind of crazy how many injuries are. I mean, and plus you now have a lot of people retiring. A lot of these guys are now retiring around 28, 29, 30 years old. They're retiring because they don't want to put their body through the hell that is an NFL season, and who can blame them? So as more and more guys start retiring early, if more and more of them, for example, are franchise quarterbacks, man, the NFL is going to have a problem, but we'll have to keep an eye on that one. So they're just showing some aerial shots now. Uh, Now we're in commercial. So, yeah, that's what's going on a Thursday night. We'll see how it goes. And we'll track these quarterbacks. Great amount. By the way, in this grading system I have, Justin Fields in the last game was a C minus. C minus just for passing. This is just for passing, these grades. Doesn't keep track of the running and all the other things the quarterback does. It's just how well did you throw the ball, basically, which is the main thing that I want to know. Uh, there is a system for those other things as well, but we just keep it simple and keep it to the throwing. Especially with Justin Fields, that's the one thing he has to prove that he can do on a consistent basis. So far, he hasn't graded out too well in my system in the games for the Jets. So we'll have to see. It'll be interesting to see what the Jets decide to do at the end of the year with him and whether they decide to go and get a rookie quarterback in the draft. It's going to be endless, basically endless debate amongst Jet fans this offseason. I can guarantee you that. It'll just be all quarterbacks all the time. I like this one. I like that one. I like this other one. All right. So we'll have to see about all of that. But that's that's the problem when you don't have a quarterback. You're just constantly trying to find one. So we'll have to see what the Jets decide to do in the draft, and so that'll be very interesting. But Fields has not graded out well in my system. But if you look at something like EPA for the season, and I put this out to channel members today, so if you're not a channel member, I would highly suggest becoming one. You get tons of exclusive information, including the fact that according to EPA, expected points added, which is one of the big ways that people judge things in football these days. Justin Fields is the 14th best quarterback in the NFL, according to that. So now that does take into account his running, and he's something like 23rd in the league in rushing yards or something like that, which is for a quarterback's kind of funny. He and I think Lamar are close in the number of yards, and plus he's missed a game. Well, Lamar's had some injury issues too as well, but um, so that's why EPA takes into account all the running that Justin does and all the rushing touchdowns and everything. We're just looking at the passing because I already know that Justin's really great at running. We don't need to evaluate that. So we don't. So we'll see how this game turns out. We got the pregame little animation going on right now. And yeah, got to keep an eye on that one. SoFi Stadium. They say this SoFi Stadium is supposed to be one of the best new stadia around. And you can see they're showing it now. Boy, doesn't that thing look better than MetLife Stadium? And we're never ever moving out of MetLife Stadium. Havmo says Fields missed 2 games if you count the Buffalo game. Well, you don't count the Buffalo game as a missed game, but yeah, he left that game early, and also was not playing well in that game at all. But yeah, missed 1 full game, 1 partial game for sure. Havmo, which again, and he's still 23rd in the league in rushing. That's pretty. That's pretty amazing. But we already know that, that's what he can do, right? We already know he's great at that. We don't need to evaluate that in any way, shape, or form. So they're showing, Shanahan and McVay, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I would say in this game, if the Rams should win this game with all the injuries that the 49ers do have right now, including Nick Bosa and many, many others, the Rams should win this game. So if the 49ers are able to win or even really keep it close, that would be huge for the Niners. Really, the Rams should win this game. They're a really good team. They're certainly a playoff team. They got Super Bowl aspirations. And the 49ers, on the other hand, uh, oh, okay. So now I'm watching this with Prime Vision with Next Gen Stats, which is really interesting because it kind of looks like a video game. I was like, what is this? But they did a funky kickoff and guy tried to catch it on a short hop. Sky Moore, that is Sky E Moore, and almost fumbled it. So interesting technique by the Rams here to try and force them to make a play. Now the Next Gen Stats gives me really weird angles. Here's Mac Jones handing it off to Christian McCaffrey. Now we can't watch it with this. I need the regular. Yeah, we tried it. No, we're going to the regular main broadcast. I don't need these weird angles, man. How am I supposed to watch football from a weird angle? They're showing it up from above. That's ridiculous. Evmo says MetLife looks like an old camper. Yeah. Well, looks a lot of people say it looks like an air conditioner. Mac Jones under duress. They throw a little screen pass to McCaffrey. That's a good way to get past the hellacious pass rush that the Rams do have. A good play call by Shanahan. But in terms of Mac Jones, that's just a routine throw. Very easy right there. Throw it right out to McCaffrey. The offense will probably be, if you remember the old Carolina Panther offense, it was McCaffrey, 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 someone else, McCaffrey, 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 and back to McCaffrey. And then he got injured, and you wondered why. But now it's 1st and 10. So they were able to get a first down. There's movement on the lines, probably on the offense here. Yep, false start. Bialy 66, like Route 66 is here. What's up, Bialy? Yeah, we're gonna be at MetLife through 2109. So set your calendars. We're not leaving there until at least 2109. We might stay there past that. It's very possible. Mac Jones under center. Now they got a bunch of wide receivers. I don't even know who their wide receivers are now. They're all injured. Jones does a little play action and of course goes right to McCaffrey. Now see, if you're on defense, if you're the defensive coordinator, that's a routine throw. You should know that with Mac Jones and McCaffrey, that's all they're gonna do. They're just gonna check it down. Just have somebody green dog McCaffrey all day. Have two people. I mean, what the hell? This is what Mac Jones does and also what Christian McCaffrey does. McCaffrey's great at it, and this is what Mac Jones um, prefers to do. So, challenge him to throw deep. He can do that, but not as well typically. Another play action. And see, put a little pressure on him, tried to go to use check, incomplete. So I'm going to put that as a bad pass, inaccurate. Yali says, same stuff, different day. Frankie. Yeah. Um, try a new banner here. Let's try this one. Comes back to pass again. Check down to Bourne, it looks like. Again, this is all he does is check down, and you're just letting him have check downs and watching the guys run around. This is not good for DC Shula. I mean, if I could tell you exactly what he's gonna do, he's just gonna check it down to the nearest guy to the line of scrimmage. You gotta play those guys heavily, clog up the middle, as they say. But Bourne's fast. They were able to get him from the Patriots. I guess the Patriots didn't need him. And there's a missed tackle. So we're not the only team that misses tackles. 3 routine throws, 1 bad throw for Mr. Jones. McCaffrey up the middle, a couple of yards. Let's see if this thing works. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, so Mac Jones, the check down king, is checking it down left, right, and center. All right, second down and 7. Now he does a couple of fakes and then checks it down. So different ways to do check downs. Do a fake of a screen, do fake of another screen, and then hit a check down. But again, this is an example of a play caller fitting the offense into who he has at quarterback. You know that Mac Jones is check down Charlie, king of the check down Charlies, right? He's awesome at it. So figure out new and better ways to give little short throws where, that fit his skill set. And that's what you're seeing here. You saw the same thing with the Steelers against us. You saw the same thing with Baker against us. You saw the same thing uh, with Tua against us. Their coaches just play to the strengths of the quarterback, and our defense is bad. So of course we don't adjust to anything. But that's another story. But you like to see these coaches. You see these offensive coaches, and they're just running the offense, to the skill set of the quarterback in the game. Mac Jones is not as mobile as a Brock Purdy, for example. There you go. Another one. Check down right. Just get rid of it quick. Find a way to get a guy open within 5-6 yards of the line of scrimmage, and Mac Jones will find them. That's what he's really good at. He can find a guy 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, no problem. Very quickly. Quick processor, you might say. Or quick recognizer when he has what he wants. In this case, he wants Tonjes right over the middle. Boom, hit him. Don't wait. Don't do any, get it on him. And you see, that's what Mac Jones did there. So I got Mac Jones 5 routine passes, 1 bad. So, just kind of what you'd expect from a Mac Jones offense. Let's see how Matt Stafford and the Rams respond. But it looks like a good game plan, at least so far, from the 49ers. We'll see if the Rams are going to adjust any to the king of the checkdowns, Macaroni Jones, and his noodle arm. So we'll have to see. But as the banner says, the Jets' unpaid scouting department is now accepting applications. That's also known as the membership tab, the members group of this channel, and we're going to continue to scout all these people. So I say we'll call it the Jets' unpaid scouting department, and you can join by clicking the join button right below this video. Highly recommend it. You get exclusive videos and exclusive data, exclusive documents, exclusive everything. You really get the best of everything, information that other people just don't have. And all for a low price. There's 3 different tiers of membership. There's a $2 a month tier, and it provides way more value than $2 a month. I can tell you that. And there's also a $5 a month tier, which is excellent. And if you want to go above and beyond, there's the $10 a month tier. You can go to that level as well. But it is a little frustrating to see some of the things we've been doing, and then we shoot ourselves in the foot. Like as I reviewed the Jets game, these past few days. The offense actually is working pretty well. It's just that you can't fumble the ball at the goal line there. Things of that nature. But the offense is looking better than recent years. I'll put it that way. So that's encouraging. The defense looks way worse, of course, but that's a story for another day, perhaps. But so I guess that there's hope that maybe Tanner Engstrand is pretty good. That would be progress for us. Let's hope that Tanner Engstrand is actually good at his job, and that would be wonderful news. Now, that being the case, then we just got to settle in on the quarterback, and we got to settle in on the defense being, something better than terrible. JoJo is here. Good to see you, JoJo. JoJo. And so the Rams will take over now after the Niners were able to get a tutty on a bunch of checkdowns. Check down, tutty. Check down, tutty. If you get a touchdown on checkdowns, they don't deduct any points. That's a nice thing. It counts all the same. They don't even deduct any points whatsoever. You get all 6 of them. So Stafford starts out with a run up the middle. Kyron Williams, number 23, gets about 3 yards or so. And we'll see how this defense does without Nick Bosa and without a lot of injured people. Main one being Nicholas John Bosa, of course, one of the best players in the NFL. He's out for the season, which is terrible for the NFL. Not that they care so much. Stafford almost falls down now, rolls out. That is a boy. Would you say that was a routine pass? He was rolling to his left, or was it even bad? It was low and behind, but he was rolling to his left. I don't know if this is routine. Can I see a replay? He gets stepped on, first of all. That's not good. After getting stepped on, he rolls to his left. He's being chased. Oh, and I don't even get to see it. I'll give him a routine then. It's hard to say that a little check down like that is solid, even though the degree of difficulty was kind of up there. JoJo says Engstrand actually sounds like a coach at the podium. Yeah, to be honest with you, JoJo, I couldn't care less what they say at the podium unless they say stupid shit like Wilkes. The defensive bus will be driven from the back. Really? That's dumb. So aside from like stupid things like that, I really couldn't care less what they say to the media. The less said, the better. Now that's a bad pass right there. Had a guy wide open. That's atypical for Stafford. One routine, one bad so far for Stafford. Had a guy wide open, threw it over his head. No bueno. But I would like our coaches to say as little as possible to the media. And the media cannot be trusted. They should not be respected. You should just say as little as possible, use as many cliches as possible, and get on with your life. My opinion. All the media is looking for is a good narrative. There are a couple of rookies, I think, on this. There's a guy coming through. That's no bueno. 47. Is that Bryce Huff? I think it may be. Is that Bryce? Yeah, that's Bryce, right? Yeah, sure is. So it must have been a TE stunt. Yeah. They got him on a stunter. Oh, no, not even really. They just let him come right in. Welcome to the quarterback. What the hell? That was no bueno, Mr. Tackle. Huff didn't really do much there, but of course, everybody will be saying how great Bryce Huff is. I could have made that sack. Yeah. But they confused him, I think, with the other rusher on the right side of Huff. But that's a stop. So Salah's all excited. Good job. Good job. They didn't tackle. They didn't block you. Good job, everybody. But really, Stafford ruined that drive with the terrible pass to the guy he had wide open, threw it over his head. Why can't quarterbacks we play ever throw it over anybody's head? And punt returner takes it to the 10-yard line. So the Mac attack is back. Check down King is coming back on the field. Bryce Huff, Habmo says, yeah. Sure is. I think that's his second one. Saleh blitzing? Yeah, Saleh started to blitz a little bit more. He actually is starting to be less stubborn now, finally. He finally learned, maybe this stubbornness isn't so terrific. So he's starting to get a little bit more creative with his fronts. So it's good to see Saleh growing, I guess. Too bad he couldn't do it when he was our coach, but hey, better late than never, I guess. But yeah, he's starting to blitz a little more, and he's going to have to blitz now more with Bosa out. But they did draft. Now they did draft defensive linemen. We did not because we're stupid and they're smart. But they drafted C.J. West and Michael Williams, if I get the name right, their first rounder, and a third one also, Alfred Collins. So all these guys that we had circled for our team, basically the 49ers took them all. I mean, it's crazy, but also understandable considering you're hiring Robert Saleh, the man who needs 7,000 defensive linemen on his team. So they said, okay, we're going to run that type of defense. All right, well, we need to load up on the defensive line. Yeah, makes sense. The Jets said, we're going to run a similar thing to Saleh and not invest in the defensive line at all. We'll get Tyler Barron, and that'll take care of it. Well, that's not going to take care of it. You can't run the solid defense without the solid people. I mean, it barely works with the solid people, but in my opinion, but if you're going to do it, that's the way to do it. Not what we did. What we did was totally stupid. So yeah, we'll see some solid blitzing. Yeah, I just went through it, Jojo. Just told you about it. I'm going to get a water. I'll be right back. You got to have water, people. What's life without water? Thirsty. Live streaming is thirsty work. I tell you that much. It's thirsty work, man. It's thirsty work. All right. Speaking of thirsty work, Mac Jones now will come on from the 9-yard line. See how many checkdowns he throws on this drive. They hand it off to McCaffrey up the middle, 4 yards, maybe 5. So it's been McCaffrey up the middle and then check downs. That's the offense tonight. Kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense when you consider the personnel that the 49ers have available to them. No Kittle. So we can't say, hey, diddle, throw it to Kittle. He's open in the middle. We can't say that. All right, Jones back to pass, looking toward the outside. He's got a wide open receiver, Demarcus Robinson. I'll give him a solid on that. So Mac Jones, very accurate. Oh, but there's a flag, but that'll still count as an accurate pass, even if it's on the 49ers in my book. So my stats will be different from the official stats. Personal foul, roughing the passer. So Mac Jones continues to get those roughing the passer calls. Stewart. Let's see about this. Pussy call. But the NFL is, of course, it's becoming pussy ball, of course. Pussy ball. You thought you were watching football. No, you're watching pussy ball. Sorry. Full of pussies. Yeah. This coaching staff is really surprised. You're not playing football, McVay. You're playing pussy ball. Don't you know it? Welcome to wussy ball, everybody. You touched the quarterback, roughing the passer. Sorry, you lose. Thank you. Come again. McCaffrey for 3 or 4 yards. Jojo says, "Are the Vikings playing in Europe back-to-back weeks?" Yes, sir. Why not? The NFL's trying to expand, don't you know? That's why we're playing wussy ball. Got to go international. Got to go find the female fans. That's why we have the Swifties. That's why we got wussy ball, and that's why we got international games, my man. There's a handoff to McCaffrey. Doesn't go anywhere. So it'll be 3rd and 7. Let's see what Shanahan dials up on this one. McCaffrey looks like he might be coming out on this play. So the McCaffrey, other guy, McCaffrey offense will continue. No, he stays in. Probably they're going to go to McCaffrey. When you have Christian McCaffrey, you get McCaffrey the ball. That's how it works. He's a workhorse, ladies and gentlemen. He's a workhorse. All right, from the shotgun, Jones looks to the right, can't find anybody, now runs, throws to McCaffrey. And I'll say that's a routine throw, but is it short of a first down? It might be by a little, but they'll probably go for it and make it. He's only a few inches short on this spot, so they're definitely going to go for it here on 4th down. I would say with those roughing the passers, once a guy throws the ball, you really can't even touch the quarterback. You have to make all attempts. Once you see the ball's gone, got to make all. That's just the unfortunate reality of football these days. 4th and inches, they do a quarterback sneak, and Macaroni Jones able to get it. Looks like. Yep, they're saying bring it over, so that's a first down. Mac Jones, a little QB sneak action. Didn't even need the tush push. He just regular old quarterback sneak got it done. So far, I would say Shanahan's getting the best of DC Shula. So I think the grandson of Don Shula. I think his name is Mike Shula or something. Anyways, hasn't really been prepared for the Macaroni Jones show. Jones right over the middle. Oh, that was a dangerous pass. What am I going to grade that pass? Was that interceptable? What kind of a pass is this? What am I going to do? Give him a solid? He almost got his player killed. Let's see. This is, I'll give him a routine. I mean, the throw was routine. He put it in a good spot. You can't say it was bad, but there just happened to be some defenders nearby. All right, 2nd and 1. Shotgun again. They hand it off to running back, not McCaffrey. Whoever that is, number 3, Robin. Oh, that's Brian Robinson that they got from the Commanders. They didn't want him no more. So 3rd down and 1 now. Can the Rams get a stop? They have not been able to stop this 49er juggernaut offense with Macaroni Jones at the helm. It's a juggernaut, ladies and gentlemen. What do they need Brock Purdy for? I mean, if Macaroni Jones can come in here and do this, what do they need to pay $50 million, whatever they paid Brock Purdy? And they fake the handoff. Jones back to pass, loops it out, incomplete. That's a bad pass. Now it's 4th and 1, though, so they still going to keep going for it. The modern NFL, 4th down and short, you go for it. Of course, if you're the Jets, that's not a good idea. But, these teams with competent people, doing things, they can go for it. So they have Brian Robinson and DeMarcus Robinson. So they currently have 2 Robinsons on the field. I think that's the most you can have at one time, is to have 2 Robinsons. Now Jones has to call timeout. And the first half, that's not terrible. So you see Jones really operating the offense pretty well. No big problems. And Shanahan's probably thinking, what did we give Purdy all this money for? Well, we could get by with Macaroni Jones or somebody else. We don't have to pay this money, but they did pay the money. So I think a lot of the fans are going to be saying, "Wait a minute, what do we? Is it the system or is Brock? Is it really Brock or is it the system?" I think that's currently a debate in 49er land. You know, but Jones is looking good. But Jones is looking like he always has looked when he was with Jacksonville or New England. It's kind of just the way he plays. And you wonder if they're going to throw here. They put McCaffrey in motion, then they hand it off to Brian Robinson, and he got it. It looks like so nice little play to get a yard. They bring in. They had 21 personnel in there, I think, and able to get a yard. Sometimes it's all you need. Now there's some trickery going on, and that's a routine pass. It's basically a novel way to get a little check down. Now he wants horse collar. Now anytime you tackle somebody, they want a penalty. That's wussy ball. It even affects Christian McCaffrey, complaining like a little baby. He horse collared me. He horse collared me. Yeah, it doesn't look like he did. Not really. It's just tackling. That's just used to be called football, but now they call it horse collar. Here's Brian Robinson. He's got a first down. 49ers keep marching down the field, even with the inferior personnel. No Kittle. Um, I think some of their O line might be injured. And obviously no Pearsall, no Brandon Ayuk, no Jawan Jennings. All these people are out, and yet they just march up and down the field. Maybe it is the system. You might be saying, why do we need to pay all these people, Brandon Ayuk and Jawan Jennings and the Kittle and this one and that one? We can make do with Jake Tonjes and Macaroni Jones. Deep ball, that's out of bounds, so that's a bad. Not a great deep ball thrower, he would say, for Macaroni. McQuirkle. Let's just make sure. Yeah, that's way out. Bialy says, go Jets. Havmo says, Darnold said the younger Purdy helped him a lot. It doesn't really matter what people say, Havmo. Everybody says everything. No one really. What are they going to do? No one wants to talk bad about other people, especially former teammates, for the most part. Sam Darnold really just needed to grow up a little bit, get a little more experience, get in the KOC system, get squared away, and now he's doing great. It happens. Look at Daniel Jones, for example, doing great. But yeah, I think it's really interesting if Jones. So it looks like Purdy's going to be out for a few games more, and if Mac Jones, the backup that they're paying, whatever they're paying him, 10 mil, maybe it is. If they handle the Rams, who are supposed to be really good, and they put up a lot of points and they're winning, and Jones is looking good running the offense. People in San Francisco are gonna go, wait a minute, why are we paying Brock Purdy all this money? The man's injured all the time. We gave him all this money. He can't stay healthy, and Mac Jones is coming in and the backup and running the offense perfectly. Why do we need to pay a man $50 million then? however much they're paying Brock. I don't think it's 50. I think it's in the 40s. But you see what I'm saying? It's taking up a huge chunk of the cap, and maybe it's not even necessary. And I think that's unfortunately what a lot of the fan base is going to say. Like, wait a minute, can we get a rebate? Can we get a rebate on that contract? And unfortunately, you can't. And if Mac Jones does all that, then some team is going to say, "Oh, let's get Mac Jones to be our starting quarterback." So he's going to, he probably won't come back to San Francisco. He wants a starting job, of course. So that'll be very interesting when you look at it. I got it 8 routine throws, right? 1 solid throw and 3 bad throws. So when you look at that, it's like, all right, that's probably, I mean, 3 bad throws out of 12 is not great. But, if this were to continue and this was, the way we would grade him. And so somebody may say, well, he's really good. Look at the stats. Look, they're winning. They're putting up points. But the old Frankie system will tell you, mm, yeah, he is what he is. I mean, it's just check down Charlie. But some teams may say, yeah, that's what we want. Just give me someone who could competently run the offense and not make too many mistakes. And, we'll take a shot here and there, but we'll mostly just run the ball, check it down, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of teams might want that. That's perfect, rather than these high variance people. All right, game's back on 3rd down and 9. Let's see if the Rams can get a stop. They think it was a false start. It was not called. Throw to the outside. Now there's a good throw. Right there, back shoulder. I'll give him a solid on that one. This is Demarcus Robinson. He's a good wide receiver. Yeah, that's a solid throw. Nice job by the nice job on the route running, and of course just grab the ball, but nice job. Now they pitch it to McCaffrey, who makes his way down to the 1-yard line. So they've had 2 long drives now, the 49ers. These Rams are supposed to have a good defense. I'm not seeing it. What about all these young people who are supposed to be great? Jared Verse and Kobe Durant, or what about these Rams people? They're supposed to be really good on defense, I thought. Not seeing it today. Number 0, Young, he's supposed to be good. What's going on with these people? You gonna let Mac Jones kill you? Throws it to McCaffrey, boom, touchdown. I mean, he put up two drives, 2 touchdowns. Matt Quarkle, what are we doing? I thought the Rams were supposed to be good. And meanwhile, the 49er fans are going to go, wait a minute, McQuirkle can do this? What do we need Brock Purdy for? Just a little mesh concept there. Yeah, I think after this year in the Shanahan system, I think Mac Jones is going to get a starting job somewhere. Since now he's going to get exposure and people are going to look at his body of work and say, hey, he can do that with us. Yeah, well, maybe so if you have McCaffrey and some of these other people. But then again, a lot of people are out for the 49ers, so it's kind of impressive. Making do without Brandon Ayuk and Jawan Jennings and Ricky Pearsall and all this. So good job by Mac Jones. So Mac Jones right now I got him at 9 routine throws, 2 solid, 3 bad. You want me to plug it into the system? Bialy says FSPN, all facts, no fiction. Yeah, do you want me to put it into the system? I'll tell you what the grade is so far. Let's put it into the system. Hang on. I'm keeping tick marks right now. Here's what I'm keeping tick marks. This is how you do it. This is how easy the system is, fellas. If you want to join the unpaid scouting department, That's how easy. You just keep tick marks, guys. It's not. That's one of the beauties of it is how easy it is. Then you just stick it into the formula, which you get from being a member. Here's my Mac Jones tab. So elite throws 0, great 0, solid 2, routine 9, bad 3. He's got a 1 point, so he's got a C grade so far. You may say C grade. Everybody has a C grade, Frankie. Well, you think about it, he doesn't have any great or elite throws, and only 2 solid and mostly routine. So that makes sense. Plus 3 bad ones are weighing him down. So he's got a C so far. If you're going to get a B, if you're going to get a good grade, you need to have some great and or elite throws. Yeah. So he's got a C. So I think the system is actually much better than even statistics, than the regular statistics, because this just tells you what did the quarterback really do for the one thing that's most important. You could see what he does running wise, by looking at the stats and whatnot. But how difficult are the throws that he made? Like that one by Bourne, that was a simple throw. Routine. It's not simple. Let's call it routine throw. But Bourne had so much yak. He had all this yak. Yeah. So the quarterback gets all that yardage and in all the stats, EPA and everything else, all that yak that Bourne had on that one play, for example, all that goes to the quarterback. It accumulates to the quarterback statistically, which it has to because it has to reflect the reality of what happened. But we're grading the throws, and that throw was a routine throw. So he doesn't get the value of the running in my throwing system, you see? And that's the way it should be, in my opinion. If we're grading throws, that was a routine throw and great yak by the receiver. And that's so we're just grading the throwing part of it. Here's a routine throw by Stafford. So we'll see how the Rams respond to this. The Rams are supposed to have a really good defense. We'll see how they do. And the 49ers are supposed to have a degraded defense with all these people injured. So we'll see how. But that's another reason why really stacking your defense. They drafted all these people and then they traded for Bryce Huff and then they kept adding, kept adding. So number one, Saleh needs that in his defense. But then number two, if you have injuries, now you're set. Look at us. We had no defensive line, especially edge players. That's a tip. So we're going to call that a batted. We were very thin enough at defensive line, and then we had injuries. JJ's not going to play this weekend. Got news for you. And so you can't just rely on JJ and Spinny McWinney to do all the work. You need a lot more. And Saleh knows that at least. But hopefully Glenn and Muji will learn. If you're going to run a 4-3, you need lots and lots of good defensive linemen, not just a handful. You need lots of them. All right, 3rd down and 5 now for Stafford. Puts a man in motion. They have not looked good against this solid defense, even without Bosa and without all these people. Now there's a check down to Nakua. There's a 1st down. All right. Routine throw. And that's where we're at. But of course, they still do have Fred Warner, of course. 94 looks like he had a good rush on that one. Not sure who 94 is, but had a good rush on that one. But they still have Fred Warner. They have some injuries in the safety position, I think. Here's a run up the middle with Kyron. Fred Warner on the tackle. Now, our friend Jason Pinnock is on this team, but he lost his starting job. So, looking like Jason Pinnock is probably going to be a career backup safety. You know, 5th round draft choice. That's not terrible. course, I think he's still much better than Tony Adams, but that's a whole other story. Devontae Adams on the sideline, 2nd down and 8. As the Rams try to get something going against the solid defense. Here's another run right up the middle to Kyren Williams, and he gets a good gainer. Should be 3rd down and about 2 yards. Oh, there's Pinnock's on the field that time. Well, maybe he is. Maybe he's got some sort of. Maybe he's starting in this game. I forget. I forget if he's a starter or not. Sometimes you just can't remember the starting safeties of the San Francisco 49ers. You know what I mean? So it's hard to remember all this. 25, he's out there, I think. All right. Anyway, Stafford now is now in the shotgun. He hands it off to Williams. That's unless you knew you were going for it on 4th. It's pretty dumb. I mean, you have Matthew Stafford. What are we doing? We don't trust Matthew Stafford. 3 straight runs up the middle. McVay, offensive genius. But of course, they're going for it on 4th, so it's not so tragic. Let's see what they do here. Maybe they'll run it up the middle again. 4 straight. 4 runs up the middle to get 10 yards. Yep. And they got it. So I don't know, man. They must really love their A-gap runs, I guess. But it worked, so who am I to say? Who am I to criticize Sean McVay, the greatest young genius coach of his own generation? And I must say, I don't know if you guys have seen Sean McVay's wife. She's quite the looker, tell you that much. Quite the looker. All right, so now Stafford's under center. And he's got 11 personnel, and they do another run up the middle, and it hits. I guess McVay knows what he's doing. Run up the middle, 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 and then run up the middle some more. I guess he's giving Stafford's arm a little break. Well, why not? If you can run it, run it. Why not? And of course, as we all know, the run up the middle is and always will be the big problem in any solid defense, as we saw many, many times while he was here. You just got to make sure you kick out the defensive tackles and then work your way up to the next level. There's a fumble-aya. Oh, my goodness. Saleh goes over there and they get fumble luck. We can't get any fumble luck one way or another. They're all celebrating. You did nothing. The guy dropped it. Bums. But maybe throw the ball once in a while. McVay, just run. Getting fancy with your runs. How about a throw? We got Matthew Stafford on this team here. Crazy. Yeah, he's the best linebacker in football, I would think. Who's better than Fred Warner? All right, in the chat, name who is a better linebacker than Fred Warner. I think he's number 1, right? Name a better linebacker than Fred Warner. I think he's number 1. All pro 1. 1 of 1. Oy vey, McVay. Oy vey, Howie says. Howie's a new member of the Jets' unpaid scouting department. Howie, want you to keep in mind the posts that are posted for you as a channel member, a new channel member. I don't want you to get lost. I don't want you to forget where they are. I put up the links to the videos there. I put up special information, Howie. I want to make sure you're getting it as a new member of the channel. A lot of people say, where's the stuff, Frankie? I don't know where it is. It's on the posts. So they got posts on the channel. You got to go to the channel. You'll see posts, and there'll be special posts just for members, Howie. And you'll see some graphs, some charts, some written things I wrote out for you guys. Interesting tidbits of information. For example, we posted up the EPA scores for all the quarterbacks in the NFL so far before this game here tonight. And Justin Fields is 14th in the league. So do we think that Justin Fields is the 14th best quarterback in football? Well, that's where he is in EPA. So by one statistical measure, anyways, Justin Fields before tonight's game was ranked 14th in the league. So I think if you told Jet fans that Justin Fields will be ranked 14th in the league in EPA, this season, they'd be pretty happy and they'd think, well, we're going to get some wins here now. But you'd be wrong about that. Jets are allergic to turnovers. Yep. Howie says, got it. Thanks, Frankie. All right, Howie. Just want to make sure you're all settled in. Now Mac Jones hands it off to whoever that is, number 9. Oh, that's Sky E. Moore. Didn't go anywhere. Yeah, they were trying to block a big dude with a little dude. That's not a good idea. Even if you are Puka Nacua. Trying to block a big with a little is usually a recipe for failure. McVeigh. Or should we say McDum-Dum? All right, now Mac Jones, McQuirkle is in the shotgun. He fakes a handoff to McCaffrey, throws it over the middle. Oh, it was a little further than I thought. Should I give him a solid on that one? I guess the depth of target, should that be a solid, chat? Solid or routine? Solid or routine on this one? See how far Bourne is. 5, 10. I mean, he's 15 yards out. It was perfect. I'm going to give him a solid. So that's going to raise McQuirkle's score right there. Because it was perfectly thrown. It was 15 yards downfield. I'm giving him a solid on it. That's a little more than routine. Hands it off to McCaffrey. So far, I would say that the 49ers are thoroughly dominating this game. The Rams were starting to get their mojo going on offense with the typical Salah Achilles heel, which is runs up the middle against any Salah defense. You run it right up the middle, as everyone knows. But they got fumble luck, and so were able to stop them in the red zone. And now they got the ball back, and they're moving it. And Mac Jones, skillful with his checkdowns, now hands it off to Christian McCaffrey, number 23. Right up the middle for a gain of 3 yards. This will be third down. I would say so far Shanahan is winning the chess match against DC Shula, who has not shown an ability to get a stop with his defense. 3rd down and 5, even with the degraded offensive weapons that the 49ers have for this game. McCorkle with a routine throw there. I'm going to give that routine, even though Bourne dropped it. Eating too many dropsicles, Bourne man. Can't eat those dropsicles, man. That is a routine throw. Can't fault. And this is the other thing. You shouldn't fault McCorkle for that throw, but the statistics will fault him. He'll get an incomplete pass. The drive will stop and all. But that's not McCorkle's fault. He put it right in his hands, so he should get the normal throw. And there's a Morstead, former Jet. Right? So he should get credit for that. And in our system, he does. So just like the opposite, if you make a good throw, you should get credit for it. But if you make a good throw and then a guy runs around for 100 yards, you shouldn't get 100 yards of credit. You should get credit for a routine throw if that's what it is. So that's what our system does, and you guys can do this system yourself. Here's how hard it is. I'm keeping tick marks, everybody. All you do is the definitions are right here, and members of this channel get this spreadsheet. You just print it out blank, and then you just you keep tick marks as you're watching the game, and you can use it for the college quarterbacks to scout them to say, is this guy really good at throwing the ball, or should I believe his box score, or what? Well, here's a way for you, and you don't need to be some great scout or anything. You don't need to be Dom C. Okay, it tells you what each one is, and you just watch the game and put it down with your best opinion. And at the end, you add it up. There's a system. You just put in how many he has. The Excel spreadsheet adds it up for you and gives it to you. It's really simple. So I think channel members, we got to really come together and do these because there's like 19 college quarterbacks we could be charting and scouting right now. 19, I can't do them all. So I would suggest if you're a channel member, go get this, print it out, and start keeping track. Pick your favorite one or two guys in college or whatever. Pick the guys you're curious about, whoever it may be, Drew Aller, Dante Moore, whoever you like, and just start charting them. We really need to keep track of this stuff because there's no way that I could do it on a full-time basis. I am not Dom C. I got a lot of things to do. I can only do like maybe one or two or three college quarterbacks every Saturday. I mean, and there's a lot of these motherfuckers, How are you gonna keep track of all these people? Orkle Jones is in a yeah, I think so. Remember, they wanted him. If you remember that draft, the whole conversation was that they really, really wanted Mac Jones, and I think Shanahan wanted Mac Jones, but I think the GM Lynch wanted Trey Lance, and they picked Trey Lance. They should have picked Mac Jones. They would have saved themselves a lot of trouble. All right, but they stalled down there, so now the Rams have it. And let's see if Stafford can do something. Not here. It's going to be a legal motion, false start. So the Rams have not been able to get anything going. They were starting to run the ball in the last drive, and then they fumble in the red zone, and the 49ers were not able to take advantage of that. So now they're backed up in their own territory in negative field position. The interesting thing to me is, if Mac Jones is in the perfect system for him, why did they give Brock Purdy all this money then? Ooh, I'm gonna say, I mean, how do you grade this throw? Was this a good throw or a bad throw? I gotta see a replay. Can I see a replay? Can I get a replay? Can I get a replay? Pay a dime for a replay. Can I get it? I cannot get a replay. Oh boy. I'm gonna say that was this is routine. I'm gonna say that previous one was actually solid. See, some of these you got to really see a replay. They didn't give me one. So there's some judgment calls that you got to make. I mean, this is part of scouting. Let's be honest. When you're a Jets unpaid scout, these are the kind of calls you make. This is what you get not paid the big bucks for. All right. Looks like there's 10 personnel on the field here. That's unusual. Stafford looking. I'm going to say this is a solid throw because that was not routine. There's a flag on the play. I don't know what they're going to call, but as far as the throw goes, I'm going to say that's solid because of the placement, basically. Holding defense, they'll probably accept the penalty, because he didn't get the first down. But that's also why my stats are not equivalent to the official stats. I will keep this throw, for example. It's not really holding. I wouldn't have called that penalty. But we are playing wussy ball, so In wussy ball, you call as many penalties as possible. That's what we're playing. We're not playing football. Now here's Stafford on a play action looking, goes deep. Let's look at this. No, that's a bad throw. But that's a type of throw, if he hit it, would have been elite. But it went over his head. So Stafford not exactly on point so far in this game. Rams a little off kilter so far. Really was not open. The guy had great coverage, I'd say. Though one-on-one coverage, and so he still could have hit it, even though he wasn't really open. A perfect throw probably hits that. Stafford now back to throw again. There's a routine one over to Williams. So 3rd down and 4 now. The Rams really want to go down and score a touchdown here and then hold them and go into the locker room down 7. You've been thoroughly outplayed. You're starting to move the ball now, but you still only got a 0 up on the scoreboard. Oh, you're only at your own 30. So you really got to get it going here, Stafford. Got 11 personnel. Ooh. Now, is this elite or great? Elite is special throws, typically perfect deep balls. Great throw, perfect second level throws, catchable, but imperfect deep balls. I think this is, nah, you got to give him great because it's not that deep. I think this is a great throw. Plus, it's not perfect. Could have been higher, for example. But great. We'll give him great on that one. All right, so they cross the 50. Congratulations. They do a little play action. Ooh, there is a great. Do I give him solid or great on this one? He was a little behind, but it was far downfield. Can I get a replay? Can I get a replay? Here's a replay. Whittington, whoever that is, made the play. Goes through the C gap. I'm going to give a solid on that because it was behind. Nice play by the receiver, though. And no more play action. There's a routine throw to 88, Whittington. There's a horse collar. They didn't call that. Is this guy going to whine about it like McCaffrey? He's not whining. They should give a penalty for whining. Whining, number 23 of the offense, whined too much. 15-yard penalty. I'm running out of time on the shot clock. Well, they get it off. Big blitz. And they throw into the blitz. And there you go. Saleh gets burned for blitzing. That's a routine throw, though. Saleh brought the heat. Stafford said, I know how to handle that. No problemo. So they did exactly what they needed to do. 2:09 remaining. They get back into the game. They're down by 7. Saleh brings a blitz from all kinds of places. They get free, but they don't get to the quarterback, but there's too much space for the running back. Don't like the dance before the end zone. Get into the end zone, then dance, Mr. Williams. That's what I would say, but what do I know? I'm just an old-fashioned guy. Get into the end zone, then dance your ass off. Don't risk it. Don't risk it. Jojo says, I wonder if the league still finds these players for improv. Oh, they'll find them for anything. They just steal money. They stole $22,000 from Quinnen Williams this week for no reason. I don't understand how the Players Association stands for it. It doesn't keep the players safer. They say it does, but it does not. All these guys have shirts hanging out. Yeah. Jerry Rice mentioned that before. Well, that's something they probably won't hit him with. They seem to hit him with the socks. If you notice, like you want to know something weird, Jojo. If you look at college, it's also very interesting to look at college football and compare it to the NFL. In college, almost all the kids have their socks really low, and they don't have they have their legs showing from their pants down to their socks, which is around their ankles. That's typical what you see in college. The NFL does not let you do that at all. If you look at all the dudes, look at all these dudes. You do not see that here. The socks got to go all the way up to the pants. Isn't that strange? Why would the NFL care about that? But you watch college, all the kids have the socks way down low and the pants up high, you know? But the NFL, nope, we can't have that. Can't have it. Cannot have it. You can't be showing your calves. My God, we can't have calves on television. That would be terrible. You ever think about that, JoJo? How about that one? Well, now we got McCorkle Jones coming back. So he's got 2 minutes. Um, you know, still got enough time. So now this vaunted Rams defense got to come up with another stop here. They did that funky kick off. It didn't really seem to work. That's a batted ball. Clog the middle on Macaroni Jones. That's what you got to do. Yeah. You ever think about it, JoJo? Isn't that weird? Why is the NFL like that? Obviously, the athletes want it the other way. Probably if there was no rule about it, probably a lot of them would go back to the college way because in college you're allowed to, and then they do, so they must like it for whatever reason. They probably think it makes them feel, or maybe it is fast, makes them feel faster when they're running, right, or something. I don't know. There must be some reason for it, but it's very strange. I mean, the NFL is goofy with this. A lot of its rules are just goofy. You got to get rid of about 50% of the rule book. But the problem is it's a bunch of old men running it, and old men like rules. They don't like change. Back in my day, we had our socks up to our necks. These people, we're not showing our calves. Get out of here. You got to wear your socks, sonny. You know, it's ridiculous. Let these athletes do what they want. I mean, maybe it makes them faster somehow. Socks are holding them back, man. But yeah, that's something Iron Glenn got in trouble with. Apparently, somebody brought that up with him one of these weeks. I don't know. I don't remember that, but apparently he got in trouble for something like that, and when he was a player, and so very, very, very strange. Very, very strange. So for those watching, I would say we are keeping track of these quarterbacks. Here's the complicated system we use. It's called tick marks. But this is the Frankie grading system for quarterbacks, and it grades their throws. How many elite throws? How many great throws? How many solid throws? How many routine throws? How many bad throws? How many interceptable throws? How many throwaways? How many batteds? And then it calculates up the score. So you can know, and then that equates to a grade. So you can know who is great at throwing the football, who's in the middle, who's really bad at it. Because a lot of times the box score is lying to you. Even EPA, DVOA, these advanced statistics are also, I have found, not exactly accurate. I mean, they tried to capture what happened in the game, but it doesn't tell you some of the things that this system tells you. And so those stats can lie to you, basically. So play action by McCorkle, throws over the middle. There he goes. You got to clog up the middle with McCorkle. He loves the middle. He's a middle of the field passer for sure. Kendrick Bourne was a smart pickup for the 49ers. His only problem really is staying healthy. He's a good player when healthy, he just gets hurt a lot. But they have so many injuries, they had no choice really. Pick up a good player, hope he stays healthy until your other guys get back, at least. Now there's 122 remaining. McCorkle under center. Looks to his left and goes underneath. And there's a fumbleia, but probably incomplete. Yeah, that's incomplete. I'll say that's a routine throw. And again, the stats will tell you that's an incomplete pass, and that's bad on Jones. That's not bad on Jones. Yeah, that's probably incomplete. But for Jones, that's just a routine throw, and he made it. Shouldn't be penalized for it. But of course, the stats have to penalize you for an incomplete pass no matter how it happens. So that's why we need these alternate scoring systems. And we're developing ours right now. Injured player timeout. Injured player timeout. It is really amazing how many of these commercials are about food. I mean, Jesus. These these live streams are thirsty work. Tell you that much. It's thirsty work here on FSPN. Let me know how you're doing in the chat. Let me know what's going on with you. What's happening out there in the chat world? I don't have to do all the talking. Though for you guys, it's really just typing. Unlike Jake Asman, I will not bring people on the show. At least not right now. Holly says, had her first frost here in New England. Well, what are you doing in New England, Bialy? It was 90 degrees today in Central Florida, I'll tell you that much. 9-0. Although we did have torrential rains this morning, so that was fun to drive into work with. There's Stan Cranky, Rams owner and chairman. The Crankies own a lot of teams. They don't just own a football team, of course. Stan Cranky. Of course, put in the chat if you think this is Stafford's last year. Is this Stafford's last year or what? Are we getting another year out of Stafford, or is it this is the end of the road for Stafford? Put in the chat whether you think Stafford's got another year left in him, or this is it. End of the road, desperado for Mr. Stafford. All right, McCorkle now is in the shotgun. He's calling a he's calling an audible. He's trying to get Bourne lined up correctly, and he didn't do it properly. I think that was on Jones. He was telling the wide receiver to cover the tight end. He didn't need to cover the tight end. I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. Illegal formation. Yeah. But they decline it, third down. So they didn't want to push him back. They wanted the down to go forward. I think they're going to bring the house on this one. 3rd and 10. I think they're going to bring the house. I think one more year, says JoJo. I still need to draft his replace. They still need to draft his replacement. Yeah, they don't really have. I mean, they do have Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster, but that's not really a replacement. They also have Stetson Bennett. I don't know if they would really consider Stetson Bennett, but it's really more about his health, right? I mean, he had those back problems uh, in training camp, and he's sort of managing it. And does he really want to go one more? I mean, he's a very tough player, as we all know. But does he really want to play around with his back that again another season? I mean, what's the point? I mean, you could permanently you could do permanent damage. You know, I think he's done after this year, but who knows? These guys, they don't, and plus he's such a big name. He could do whatever he wants after he's done. I mean, he's made all this money, but if he wanted to do podcasting, media, whatever, he would get a job real easy. It's just how much does you want to put your body through? Yeah. All right, here's McCorkle back. 3rd and 10. They did not bring the house, and he does unbelievable. Like they did not bring the house. McCorkle's going to throw it, check it down. He does, and he's wide open for a first down. I mean, this is what the man does. What's wrong with you, McVay and Shula? Clog up the middle, and you should bring more pressure. You got to get him off his. But he's kind of like Tua in a way. You got to get him off his spot and off of his uh, normal reading it out 1, 2, 3 because he's good at that. You gotta scramble him. You can't just bring 4 unless they're going to get home. But that's a bad throw. Unless you're going to get home with 4, but these 4 that they're bringing are not getting home at all. There's Dinero Pinheiro, another guy we could have kept, but we had to have Zerloin. Why keep one of the most accurate kickers in the NFL when you could go for a guy with leg talent? Of course, Brant Boyer is the special teams coach of the 49ers. Here's a run up the middle by McCaffrey. And clock's ticking. They got one timeout. They want to spike it here. And they spike it. So 13 seconds. So you could run a play or two if you want. Spike, I'm not gonna count the spike as a pass, obviously. That's not. I guess you could say that was an unearned. You could say it's a throwaway, I guess. Doesn't hurt you to have a throwaway. Dinero Pinheiro warming up. One of the most accurate kickers in NFL history. Well, we don't need that here on the Jets, that's for sure. We need leg talent. So Jones now in the shotgun again. And again, they're not blitzing at all. They just do an ET stunt. Ooh, that was a bad pass. 9 seconds remain, 3rd and 10. You could run another play if you want to, if you trust Jones. That was his 5th bad pass of the night. He's got 14 routine ones, 3 solid, 5 bad, 1 throwaway, 1 batted. Yep, they're going to try another play. And they get a timeout. JoJo says Rams will probably be one of those teams that trade up. I don't know about that. First of all, well, it depends how everything shakes out. You got to see how many teams need a quarterback and how many of those teams are in position to take their guys at the top. So, how many teams are going to be at the top that don't need their guy? So, like the Titans, for example, is a good case. The Titans, are they going to stick with Cam Ward? He's not having a good rookie season, but it's his rookie season. So, are they going to give up on him and take another guy in the first round? Let's say they have the first pick overall, for example. Well, you know, uh, they might want to just get Ruben Bain on that team, for example. All right, McCaffrey running up the middle. Now 2 seconds, timeout. and they'll kick it. So San Francisco should go up by 10 into the half. And I would say that's quite an accomplishment considering the circumstances. I mean, the Rams really should be winning this game. Jones has been efficient and, no big mistakes. And the Rams just, fumble and haven't been able to really establish what you think their offense really should be doing. And the 49ers have been able to run a pretty good offense against what's supposed to be a good defense. So we'll see if Dinero Pinheiro can nail it up and good. Yeah, the man is reliable. Old reliable Pinheiro. So 17-7 is how we'll go into the half. Good job by McQuirkle. Alan Doge is here. Alan Doge is a member of the channel. He gets all the posts. He gets all the special information, exclusive videos, and our quarterback grading system, which looks like this, where you can do scouting. You can scout these quarterbacks. You can know which ones are throwing elite level passes and great level passes and solid and everything else that we look at here. And whether you take advantage of it or not, Mr. Dodes, well, that's on you. But you got access to it all. Got access to it all. You keep track of the tick marks, then you fill it in the spreadsheet. It adds it all up, does all the math for you. You don't even have to do any math. That's a beautiful system. And we use it to scout all these quarterbacks. Tankathon has us selecting a safety at pick 2. Well, not just any safety, Caleb Downs. He's not a safety, he's a defensive weapon. Caleb Downs is amazing. If we wound up with Caleb Downs, that would be fantastic. He's just what our defense needs. Well, one of the many things our defense needs. But the only way that would happen is if we decide Justin Fields is the man. And if Justin Fields is the man, that is good news. Because we would take Caleb Downs in the first round. Then the second round, we would take an edge rusher. Then in the third round, we'd probably take another edge rusher. Or we should anyway. Then the fourth round, probably third round. I mean, depends what we do in free agency. But if we can't pick up a wide receiver, then third round, we'd get a wide receiver. Then we'd be pretty well off. I mean, the defense really, well, it really, I don't know what kind of philosophy they're I don't even have a handle on what Wilkes is trying to do with this defense, to be honest with you. Dode says, what do you think about the Khalil Herbert signing? Well, he's a veteran running back, and we needed one because Braylon Allen got injured. So it's perfect. Plus, Khalil Herbert has a lot of experience returning kicks. So it's maybe a 2-for-1. Maybe a way to get Isaiah Williams off this roster. We really don't need him. What we really need is a defensive end. Jermaine Johnson's not playing again this weekend. So how the hell are we going to play these teams with these bums on trying to play defensive end? That's what I'd like to know. But anyway, if you have Isaiah Davis and Khalil Herbert returning your kickoffs, that's fine. Then who's going to do punts, though? That's the problem. So Isaiah Williams does the punts as well. I don't think either of those two are going to be punt returners. That's a harder job. So we'll have to see. For now, Williams will stay on the roster. We'll see what happens, but Dode says, I watch most of them. Well, if you're talking about the college quarterbacks, you might as well track it then. Like if you're going to watch the game anyway, this is what I was thinking last Saturday. I was going to watch the Penn State Oregon game anyway. So why don't I just chart the quarterbacks? Dante Moore could be our quarterback next year. Drew Aller, probably not, but I wanted to see him too and chart him. He didn't do as good. and his stock is falling. Dante Moore's stock is rising. But if you're going to watch these college games anyway, why not just print out a blank sheet and track these quarterbacks and, have a little data for when it comes time to do the mock drafts and everything else? That's what this system does. I meant inner circle content. Oh, yeah. But that's just the videos, dudes. I mean, what about the quarterback rating system? What about all of the scouting documents I give you? I give you critical factor scouting sheets. I mean, there's so much stuff. So much stuff that's available to you as a member of this channel. And in fact, most of the things I'm putting out now are going to the members. I'm not even really doing videos for regular old videos. The videos go out to the members. The members are really, I mean, let's face it, the members of this channel, I mean, most of you who are members, you're above average. Let's be honest, right? I mean, so it's an above average crowd, so you got to respect that. And you got to give them some content. Just putting out a video for everybody, I mean, what does that do? But the members, the Frankie Channel members, the members of FSPN, the Frankie Sports Programming Network, I mean, those are above average people. So we got to respect that. All right. So let's take a little break. And in the meantime, let's listen to a little music. Let's listen to a little music as we take a break. It's halftime. We'll be back on FSPN. No, we don't want that. Let's listen to this song.
It was a clear sight, abandoned, handed down to me. A history, it's been given, long but shortened in my hand. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around, hold me up, soak me in, and let them read my side. My eyes shine, it hangs together, it announces my every move, transforming these gatherings, cleansed in my fingers, it begins. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around, hold me up, soak me in, let them read my shame. Now it calls attention to my heart and to my chest.
My drive is so insatiable, it drags me down. My charm hangs from a prison chain. Free swinging, forceful singing my day. Hang around my, hold me up, soak me in, and let them read my shine. Free swinging, forceful singing my name. Hang around my, hold me up, soak me in, and let them read my sign. Read my sign. It was so long ago, I carried that book of poems, but I had no sign. No, I had no rhyme. It was so long ago, I carried that book of poems, but I'd done my time. No, I had no shine.
That was Staten Island's own Das Rog, ladies and gentlemen. And we're at halftime during the game tonight. It's Thursday night football. We have some period of time to go until this halftime ends, but we don't exactly know how many more minutes that may be. So we'll put a little lo-fi music on. Some lo-fi beats. Just mess around with the mood. But actually, I don't like this. Let's try this one. This might be a little better. Game is coming back on. The 49ers will be kicking off to the Rams. So we'll get to see Matt Stafford first and foremost. And they take it out to the 35, 37-yard line. So that's where they will start the ball game this second half. They're down by 10. They need to get the offense going. They tried the old run it up the middle on solid trick. Worked for a while, but then they had a fumble that killed that drive. So they come out with 11 personnel, I think it is. Man in motion is Tutu Atwell. Stafford with a routine pass over to Puka. To start the second half. Very exciting stuff, of course. Pinnock is starting for the 49ers. So there you go. Jason Pinnock starting uh, safety for the 49ers. Stafford. Wow, that's I think this is an elite throw. Do I get a replay or no? 15. It's 15. Oh, oh, that's going to be no catch. They should challenge that. I'm going to give him a great throw. Can't give him elite on that. Sean McAteer is here. Thanks for being here, Sean. Holding on the defense, holding on the offense, holding on everybody. Welcome to Wussy Ball, everybody. Too many rules, too many penalties, too much refereeing. Thought it was football? Nope. It's wuss ball. We're going for an international audience. They don't like the rough stuff, Frankie. It's just about business, you see. All right. 11 personnel again, running it up the middle with Kyron Williams. They just run right up the middle. You notice they're not stringing it out. They're not doing any of that outside zone crap. They're just running it right up the gut, which is what you're supposed to do against a solid defense. That is the weakness, as we all know and experienced over the last 4 years. So now it's second down and 6. Got a solid 4 yards on first down. See what McVay has up his sleeve here. But even on this drive, if they only get a field goal, that would be okay. And they really need the defense to step up. I think this is 12 personnel here. And they're not running the ball, faked out the cameraman, and now I couldn't see what the hell happened. Good job, Amazon. But the receiver dropped it, but I don't know if that was a bad pass or a routine pass. Can I get a replay? Can I get a replay, Amazon? No? Okay, you're just going to screw us like that? All right. I'm going to give him a routine. I'm going to say the guy dropped it. I couldn't see it because Amazon thought the running back had the ball. It's what happens when you broadcast football games on e-commerce websites. And another dropsicle. Routine throw. Boy, the Rams are playing like crap. Let's put it that way. Fumbleias, dropsicles. I mean, you can't drop this, Kyron. What are you doing? Boy, oh boy. You wanted to dance and be all fanciful when you scored a touchdown. How about now? How about now when you can't even catch a routine pass from your quarterback? How about now? Ooh, missed the field goal. Not even close. Rams are playing like crapola tonight. Let's be honest. Fire McVay. Fire McVay, they might say. And now Matt Quarkle Jones will come back on the field. Well, as I keep mentioning, I do believe that the Jets' unpaid scouting department needs to be formed, and it needs to be the members of this channel. You can get yourself one of these scouting charts for quarterbacks, and we can form the Jets' unpaid scouting department because there's a lot of scouting that needs to be done, and the Jets need a lot of help. So I say we give them that help by doing their scouting for them. Now, we're using the pro quarterbacks, such as on Thursday Night Football, like this game, in order to refine the system, make it a little better, figure out if it needs a little tweaking. And we're also taking a look, of course, at the college quarterbacks on Saturdays. So that's what we're doing here. And if you'd like to participate, it's very easy. You just click the join button down below. You become a member, very low rates. You get your money's worth a million times over. And you too can get access to all of this and help the Jets with their scouting, which is what we need to do. Obviously, the Jets need a lot of help. They thought Tyler Barron was good. Okay. They thought Tony Adams was good enough. Nope. They thought Michael Clemens was perfectly fine. Wrong. So they obviously require a lot of assistance. They don't know what they're doing. So we're going to have to do it for them. So that's what I'm saying. I'm pitching in. Hopefully you will too. Hopefully you will too. Well, I was just reading X, and Al Michaels said if Mac Jones keeps this up, they're going to have a quarterback controversy in San Francisco. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Uh, uh, these narratives, I mean, when you start charting too, you start to realize that the media is just a narrative machine. That's all it is. Because a lot of the things that they say just don't bear, you just don't have any bearing on reality. But if it makes a good story, they'll run with it. They're just narrative machines. They're not there to tell you information. They're there to make a lot of money. Money, 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 money. McCorkle back. Now they're trying to bring some heat. They do not get home. And there's a long pass that's bad. Again, you want to force him to the outside. He's such a bad outside thrower. You want to put it this way, challenge him. Now one of their guys, Davis, one of their defensive tackles is out. Another defender out for the 49ers. Uh, you know, how many guys have to leave with injury before you can score some points, McVay? Dum dum. But with McCorkle, you want to challenge him to go outside. Oh, they're going to call a flag on that, of course. Even though the pass was uncatchable, doesn't matter, Williams. You touched his butt way too early. Penalty, butt touching. Illegal butt touching. First down. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was definitely there too early, but was another bad. I put that as a bad throw for McCorkle. He's got 7 bad throws so far. But they're going to have a quarterback controversy in San Fran because he threw 2 touchdowns. Well, there's a nice outside throw. I give him a solid on that. Man, this Rams defense, I thought it was good. What happened to the Rams defense? I thought all these young players, Jared Verse. I mean, is Jared Verse even playing? I mean, what's happening? Young, Byron Young, what about him? There's Verse. I'm surprised they didn't call that uh roughing the roughing the pussy. You can't rough the pussy. That's illegal. That's definitely illegal. Here's a running play for McCaffrey. Gets 3 yards. Kodak is here. Sodak says, I would love to know what it's like to be a fan of a team like the 49ers. Well, just become a fan of a different team, Sodak. You don't have to be a Jet fan. It certainly is painful, and anybody who wanted to be a fan of another team, I would not blame them one bit, Sodak. Adrian Martinez is the backup to the backup. They were showing Mac Jones limping around, but he'll be fine. He usually limps around. Here's a running play up the middle. Brian Robinson Jr. Third down. Look at all the tape Jones has on his ankles. That's a hell of a tape job. You learned from what you learned from Tom Brady is tape up your ankles with 17 yards worth of athletic tape. I tell you that. Third down and 3. McCorkle in the shotgun. They are not bringing any pressure, and he finds a man over the middle. I mean, how many times do we have to keep saying it? Number one, you got to pressure him, and number two, you got to take away the middle. I guess it's easier said than done. Bourne running from the slot. Just runs a little slant route. McCorkle hits him because Hart no one in his face. Guy's too late. You're too late, Verse. And that's the thing with his checkdowns. He knows it's sort of like quick game. You know what I mean? So it is a good way to beat any kind of pass rush. Just get rid of it quick. He's good at that. McCaffrey now up the middle, gets a few yards. But it really looks like the 49ers are controlling this game. Kodak says, thank you so much for the super chat. Always appreciate your analysis and take. Keep it up. Good to have you back, brother. All right, Sodak. Let me know if there's anything specific you want to know. I appreciate your super chat. Super chats are open and available, as we see from Sodak, for those who may not be aware. I was thinking about it today. Jones back to pass. I'm going to give him a solid on that due to the pressure in his face. I gave him a little something more than a routine on that one. But I was thinking about it, like, why is it that maybe it's coming in the next few years, but like YouTube should have a thing where if you want to, give a super chat to someone, you should be able to do so in any kind of crypto, Bitcoin, XRP, all these cryptos. You should have any choice of crypto you want, or dollars if you want that. Why hasn't that become a reality yet? We've had these crypto things for a long time now. McCaffrey up the middle, fighting. Doesn't get in. But really, the 49ers are dominating this game. I would say Shanahan is dominating his buddy McVay. But you know what I mean? Like, at some point, I don't know. I was listening to some podcast about cryptocurrencies and the blockchain and all this and decentralized finance and all of this. And it seemed like from what this expert was saying that some of the regulatory stuff is in place now that wasn't before, and from the federal government, and some of the technology that you'd need to really do this on a serious basis is now ready. So I'm thinking maybe in the next 2 to 3 years, you might see a button that says donate, and then it'll be a menu, and you could pick, I want to donate some Bitcoin, some XRP, some whatever it is. And that would be pretty cool because some of those cryptos you could give a tiny little bit of crypto, you know, which you may want to do. You may not want to give 4.99 or 5.99 or 10.99 or, the open goal looks like a penalty or a timeout. Now, a timeout in the second half would not be great, but you're up by 10. Looks like he called timeout, I guess. So wasted a timeout here on the goal line. That's not what you want, but they're up by 10. So it's not as bad as if uh, the Rams had to burn a timeout. So there we go. So let me know. They give you okay. So let me know if you want to know anything else, Sodak. Appreciate it. But yeah, someday I think a crypto donation thing would be pretty cool on YouTube. I look forward to that day. That was promised long ago. I mean, you could put your Bitcoin wallet thing in the description, but nobody's going to do that. It needs to be easy. Oh, they almost get to Jones. They finally get some pressure on this guy. Now it looks like he has some kind of leg problem. We may see Adrian, the Martinez package may be coming into this game, ladies and gentlemen. Jones is down for the count. Macaroni Jones, the dick kicker himself, man who kicks other men in the dick on purpose on a football field. He's down on the ground. They finally were able to get some pressure on him. Maybe a little too late. Young finally gets in there. That's just a normal hit. Has nothing. So the leg injury has nothing to do with this hit at all. And he was not able to get the sack, though. So that was a nice hit by Young. He did it totally properly. No problem. But I put that as a bad pass on Jones. And he seems to be in a bunch of pain. So the man who likes to kick other men in the dick is down in pain on the ground. McQuirkle Jones. So we may get to see Adrian Martinez in the Martinez package. Sodak says Jones is such a punk ass. Yep. One of my least favorite players in the NFL. I like a lot of players. It takes a lot for me not to like somebody in the NFL. I like a lot of the players, especially and including the ones who leave the Jets for the most part. Like, I don't have any ill will toward Elijah Moore or Zach Wilson or Sam Darnold or any of these guys. Geno even. I want to see them do well. I don't care. But Mac Jones, I mean, if you're going to kick guys in the dick, I mean, I'm not going to exactly root for you. So yeah, Mac Jones is a dick kicker. The NFL is becoming the National Wuss Ball League, and we're going to continue watching for at least for now. But I tell you guys something though. There's something that's coming that may be a big it may be a threat, a real threat to the NFL. You wonder if the NFL I wonder if the NFL might lose maybe 10% if they keep this up with the penalties and the injuries and people who are big, who are not big fans, but let's say casual fans of the league. If more of these quarterbacks keep getting injured because it's kind of fraudulent when you expect to have like in 2000 Rodgers got injured. Like we were all expecting a team, you know, quarterbacked by Aaron Rodgers and he got injured and that it wasn't the same team then. Your backup's never going to be as good as, that guy. So it's kind of fraudulent. And I wonder if this sort of continues more like maybe 10 or 15%. Now they're always going to have a huge audience, but maybe 10 or 15% might peel off and do something like Grand Theft Auto. So next year, this video game, Grand Theft Auto, is coming out, and it's going to be a revolutionary video game by all accounts. And they're going to have like the game's going to come out. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be the biggest event of any kind of media ever. Here they're going for the field goal, and Dinero kicks it 20-7. So the 49ers continue to thoroughly dominate this game. But Jones, they showed Jones on the sideline. It looks like he's fine. So um, you wonder if the thing about Grand Theft Auto Online that's coming, it may be so good that if people are fed up with the NFL, for example, they may go, I have these alternative entertainment things. I don't need to watch wuss ball. You know, I don't need to watch a bunch of dick kickers. Playing quarterback. I don't need to watch all these penalties and have all these injuries, and I'm just going to go play GTA online. You know, and it won't be a huge percentage, but if they lose anywhere from 15% of their audience, that'll really sting in the ratings, and then everything starts to fall apart. So that's something to keep in mind. You really wonder, because when your team is having all these injuries and you're watching these penalties ruin the games and everything, sometimes you're like, do I really want to? Is this really entertaining or does this suck? So, because the league really does compete entertainment wise with every entertainment that there is out there, movies, books, etc. So, I think GTA is going to be so revolutionary that it could pose a problem. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right, Stafford now back on as the 49ers are really taking it to him. Stafford can't find anybody, can't find anybody, can't find anybody. I'm going to say that's a throwaway. Event Horizons. Do either LA team have a really strong fan base? That place is full of 49er fans, and the Chargers never have any fans also. Yeah, I agree. Event Horizon seems that way. The Rams, of course, are relatively new to LA. If you think about it, they moved. There's an elite pass right there. That's a Stafford we know. Now, if anybody knows how to bring teams back from large deficits from behind, it's Matthew Stafford. And then the Chargers don't have a fan base. You're right, Event Horizon. They really don't. But they're trying to build one up with Harbaugh and Herbert and all. We'll see if they're able to do so. Problem they have now is their offensive line is crap because of injuries. So we'll see if they're able to piece it together. The Giants really took it to them the other day, but mostly because of that offensive line, and plus the Giants have a hellacious defensive line because they really invested in it. You really want to see great defensive line play. Watch the Giants. If the 49ers ever were to get healthy, here's another defensive lineman potentially injured for the 49ers. I mean, they have so many injuries. If they ever had their full complement of defenders, they would have an amazing defense, but looks like a hamstring for Gross Matos. But they're a mash unit, and they're still winning this game 20-7. So we'll see what Stafford's able to do. I would say that's a solid throw. Here, down 13. I mean, they're not out of the game by any means. 5:42 in the third quarter, so plenty of time. Problem is their defense hasn't been able to stop McCorkle, so he's carving them up with his little checkdowns and whatever. Limping around on the sidelines. Seems like he always has some kind of minor injury, but then he doesn't really miss time. And Stafford now back again. Now they're pretty much going into all pass mode. And another drop. Man, they've had several of those tonight. A lot of mistakes by the Rams. Missed field goal. Now Stafford is in the shotgun. Dumps it out to Nakua for a screen pass and gets a first down. Nice concept. It looked like it could have broke big, but they came up and made the tackle. But they got the first down. Time is not really a factor. We're still in the third quarter. They're only down 13. They just need to really convert this into a touchdown and not go for a field goal here. But now they're inside the 10-yard line. So I'll give a routine on that. Now they're inside the 10-yard line, so no more first downs. First and goal from about the 8. And they hand it off up the middle again. Kyron Williams takes it all the way down to the 1. Again, that will always be, I guess, the weakness of a solid defense. Right up the middle. With the run. Specifically running duo in the A gaps. And you wonder if that's what they're going to do here. No, they throw a pass, risky, but caught by Nakua. Oof. That didn't look great there for a second. But now they're right back in the game. So that's a good job by Stafford and the boys. Nakua right behind Adams. So you run a stack, and they just don't have any time to get to you. Nicely done. Looked a little risky, but good placement there. So 20-13, and Cardi is the kicker trying to make a extra point. See if he can make it a 6-point game. Ooh, almost blocked. What's going on with all these blocked kicks this year? Seems like dudes are really getting in there and blocking it on these kicks. So Stafford comes back and brings the team all the way back. Well, not all the way yet. So they're saying it's most likely a problem with his brace. The brace caused some discomfort. So apparently that's what it was. Should be fine, I guess. Quarterback Matthew Stafford just passed Phillip Rivers for the eighth most completions in NFL history. So there you go, Matthew Stafford now in number 8 most completions in NFL history. So I guess he can retire now. No need to keep going, Matt. You got it. You got it. You got it. Definitely history being made. There's history being made every minute of every second of every day. And with that being said, let me mention again, if you're watching and you're wondering, what does that join button do beneath the video? Well, it lets you become a member of FSPN, the Frankie channel. And that gets you exclusive videos. It gets you the Frankie quarterback grading system that you can use to grade these quarterbacks. Has more than just this. This is just one aspect of it. Adds up all the totals and gives you a grading system. You can do your own scouting, especially of these college kids. We got to know who's good, who's bad, who's better than with it. Is it a fumble? They're saying it's not a fumble. Run it in anyway. Might as well. Maybe it was a fumble. You never know with these idiot refs. Bunch of bums. NFL referees are terrorists, in my opinion. Too many rules to officiate. Oh, why is that not a fumble? He was still moving. He's still trying to advance the ball. That's a fumble. Sorry. Why did we blow it dead? The referees are fucking terrible. These referees are terrible. See, it's not just the Jets. The referees stink on ice. Terrible. He's going to tell him the forward progress was stopped. The guy was still fighting to go forward. Why don't they ever call it forward progress stopped on the running back when he's running, getting pushed by his teammates? Oh, they never call that. But this is forward progress was stopped. The guy was still moving his legs. You're out of your mind. And they're telling McVay you can't challenge it probably because forward progress was stopped. Well, he was still moving his legs. How do you know forward progress was stopped? How do you know he wasn't going to get pushed by his teammates? So stupid. Clearly a fumble. Clearly. Forward progress was stopped, Frankie. No, it was. How do you know it was? What if his teammates started pushing him from the back? Stupid. As I was just saying, NFL referees are terrorists. Bunch of bums. League. So stupid. Now here's another flag. False start. McKivitz. Every play is a fucking flag. Then when something good happens, they stop the play. Something exciting happens, stop the play. Stop it right now. Too exciting. Too exciting. Clearly a fumble. All right, McQuirkle now back to pass. Throws to the sideline. It's a routine pass. 16 routine passes for Jones. Seems to be not too injured, even though he's got that huge brace on his knee. Kendrick Bourne over 100 yards of receiving. So that was a good pickup by the 49ers. Of course, they were familiar with him from previous stops. McCorkle right over the middle to the tight end. That's a routine again. That's his favorite target, right over the middle. And they're calling that a first down. Not so sure about that. Depends where the marker is. His knee went down pretty quick. These refs are terrible. That's why I embrace and endorse the brand of coffee that Brandon Perna has put out. And that brand of coffee is fuck the refs. I endorse that 100%. Fuck these people. They don't know how to do anything. They don't know how to spot the ball. And now they're saying they already know it's not a first down. Yeah, good. You said it was first down before, dummies. Fuck these refs, dopes. They can't even see a guy's knee. Oh, that's a first down. What are you talking about? You're looking at it. Your whole job is to look down the line. You can't even see because you're a fucking dummy. And how many of these guys are really too old anyway? Are we checking their eyesight or what? Can we get an eyesight check on these old men trying to officiate an NFL football game? There's just $1 billion industry riding on their every move. 4th and inches. They do a tush push of a kind. Probably got it. Well, Juszczyk with the tush pushing. Well, at least he's doing something. Got to keep the man viably employed here. On a delay of game, I believe. Delay of game. Nope, they called a timeout. Well, the 49er offense has been very efficient tonight, as we've seen with McCorkle Jones under center, even hobbling around and not, 100% perhaps on a bum knee, still able to put up 20 points so far. We're only in the third quarter on a Rams defense that was supposed to be good, I was told, but it hasn't played very well. 1st and 10. Here's a run to with McCaffrey to the right, and he gets maybe 7 or 8, 6, 7, 8, some amount of yardage. McCaffrey 18 rushes for 61 yards. That's not a good ratio there. Damn, that's actually terrible. 18 for 61. 3.38 yards per carry. That's very bad. But maybe he'll have a long one in the fourth quarter. You never know. It could happen. It could be. It could be. So we're going to the fourth quarter now. Breaking news as of 2 hours ago. Breaking Jets news. Per Connor Hughes, the Jets are signing Avery Williams to their practice squad. Williams played for the Falcons from 2021 to 2024 and has experience returning kickoffs and punts. So this will probably be the end of the Isaiah Williams experience. Avery Williams, another Williams. Avery Williams uh, is joining the squad apparently. Don't see an announcement by the Jets on that, but that's per Connor Hughes, and we assume he has sources. See if the Jets announced anything. So what'll probably happen is if this Avery Williams guy is on the P squad for this week, he'd probably, Isaiah Williams would probably be inactive. They'll probably bring him up if he's ready to go. Jets didn't announce anything. So you also channel members also get an updated roster. Uh, as these transactions take place, I keep the roster updated. 3rd and 1 now for the 49ers. Probably another. No, they're handing it off to McCaffrey, who gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage. That's a 2.5-yard loss. So be 4th down. Let's see what they want to do here. We're going to have to look up this Avery Williams fellow. Anybody know who Avery Williams is? Let me know in the chat. So they're going to punt its old friend Morstead. So they were able to stop him there. All right. So good enough. Guy fields a punt on the 5, takes it out to the 10, can't seem to get anywhere. Takes it out to the 12 at least. Give him some breathing room. So on comes Stafford. Now they had a good drive last time, so let's see if they can build off of that. But the Jets apparently have signed Avery Williams. See, P squad updates, Jets. Yeah, running back Avery Williams. So we got Khalil Herbert, and now we got Avery Williams on the P squad. So that could be the end of Lawrence Toafili. Todd wants to know how much time is left. Plenty of time. 4th quarter, 14:03 remaining, Todd. Stafford back to pass looks. That's a routine throw out to Nakua. It's going to be about 8-9 yards. He's tough to bring down. So excellent first down play. So plenty of time remaining, Todd. Let's see if the Rams can build off of their last drive where they took it down and scored a touchdown. And looks like they finally found their rhythm a bit against this Salah defense. Salah brings a blitz, so Stafford just drops it off in the middle. And tight end first down. That's a routine throw. But the Jets are now have Avery Williams and Khalil Herbert in the fold. So some extra running back depth. I have to look at after this next commercial break. We'll take a look at Avery Williams. Oh, that's a bad throw. Risky, kind of risky. Stafford, kind of risky. Trying to find Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams has been quiet tonight. Haven't really seen him. Does he have any catches? I know he did play a role in the touchdown catch by Nakua because he was kind of like a lead blocker, so to speak. So he did do something, but 2nd down and 10 now, 25-yard line. See how the Rams want to attack this. They're only down 6, so plenty of time. They dump it off through over the middle. Kyron Williams makes this catch, routine throw. He's had some dropsy problems tonight. They've dropped a number of passes, but plenty of time. Plenty of time. 3rd and inches. Looks like it's hot and humid there tonight over in LA. I guess that's not unusual. Some of the fellers. Oh, well, there's a running play up the middle. That's a first down. Kyron Williams. So fresh set of downs for the Rams. Stafford, 18 of 27, 217, 2 touchdowns. Was that batted or is bad? He's mad about something. Thinks he got hit in the head, so he's crying like a little wuss boy. These guys get wussified, man. Hey, well, that's pretty bad. Yeah, that should have been called probably. I'm going to give that a batted. Yeah, I can't call him a wuss for that. That was pretty bad. But that's why some of these rules need to be folded into unnecessary roughness. You know, you don't need a roughing the passer call when you already have unnecessary roughness, really. But that was a bad no call, I would say. As much as I don't like penalties. That's going to be holding. That's a solid throw. But it's going to be holding on the Rams. Almost certainly. Oh, no. All right. That's declined then. Hands to the face on the defense. One of the few things they could actually call when the flag comes from the backfield like that on the defense. Of course, when they do that to Joe Tippmann, they don't call that. They rip Joe Tippmann's helmet off. That's not illegal hands to the face. No, it's perfectly fine according to these refs. Fuck the refs. All right, now Stafford back to pass play action, throws over the middle. He's got a man. It's Devontae Adams. He takes it to the 8-yard line. Now Adams is getting involved. DA 17. Got to find him. So this offense is coming alive now in the second half. Found some leverage. Used it on the young rookie Upton Stout. Now they're at the 8-yard line. 10:52 remaining. Stafford throws to the back of the end zone. Man, what do I call this kind of a pass? Not routine. I would say, geez, I'm going to say that's solid, actually. Receiver should catch this. Even though it was good coverage by the defender, though. All right. They really need a touchdown, though. There's so much time left. If they can't get it, a field goal isn't terrible. Throw it out to the running, but they get a touchdown. So there you go. Kyron Williams again. So I think that's his second TD of the night. That ties the score or scores the tie. Either way you want to look at it. But it really just ties the score. 10:39 remaining. Now it's 20-20. And with the extra point, it pulled the Rams ahead of this one. But plenty of time left for McCorkle and Banana Hands and that whole crew of losers. Oh, They blocked the extra point. There's too many block kicks these days. What is going on with this kicker? He missed a field goal earlier. Now he's got an extra point blocked, so it remains 2020. They do not go ahead. They can't execute a kick. Big boy got in there and got a hand up. So Brant Boyer's got to be happy about that one. At least his unit did something. As we go to commercial. Let's look up this Avery Williams fellow. There's too many Williamses. I think we need like 70,000 more Williamses on this team. Quincy, Quinnen, Isaiah. Jesus. Avery Williams. Who is this? Dooby doo. What about well, he was a fifth round pick out of Boise State, 5'9", 195. Fifth round pick, played in 2022, drafted in 2021, didn't play in 2021. Then he played in 2022, 141 snaps, and last year 10 snaps. Who is this guy? Anybody know who Avery Williams is? Why did we pick this guy up? Special teams. Well, he is a special teamer. Now they list him here. They list him as wide receiver, but it doesn't make sense. So this guy looks like a core special teamer. He did play in 2021. He just didn't play on offense. He played special teams, 271 snaps on special teams. Yeah, this is a four core teamer. So he does have a lot of experience on special teams. 2021, 22. He didn't apparently play in 2023. Must have been injured. But this is a really good special teams player. All right. I like the pickup. We need better people on special teams, obviously. So I would say it's kind of the Rams guy has had problems. Let's fire their special teams coach. Brant Boyer's fired up. All right, now McCorkle's taking over at the 35-yard line. He's back to pass and throws a little tight end screen. It's going to go for 2 yards. It's a routine throw. Tight end got clobbered on the sideline. Well, we picked up a special teamer, everybody, Avery Williams. Try to deal with our special teams problems. Now here's a handoff to Christian McCaffrey. He's averaging about 3.5 yards per carry. That's not good. Called no bueno. Jared Verse with a hell of a play against Trent Williams on that one. So 2020 in the fourth quarter, 9:33 remaining. Clock is running. 3rd and 8. Let's see what McCorkle's going to do. Does he throw past the sticks or does he throw a 5-yard? Now they try to put some pressure on him. He throws to the outside. The guy falls down. No penalty, so I'm going to say that's bad. But the receiver fell down, so kind of hard to tell. But I'm going to give McCorkle a bad grade on that one. And they could have called roughing the passer, but they didn't. That's the problem with that penalty too. It's too inconsistently called. We got to get rid of all these inconsistencies in the penalty with these referees. Now they're kicking it away to Stafford. Punt is fielded, takes it to the 30. This is saying that Lawrence Toafili is out, as I speculated. So it seems like Toafili is going to be released from the practice squad, and that makes sense. Toafili is not a special teamer, whereas this Avery Williams fellow is. And that is the difference. Practice squad. So now we have, there goes Toafili. So Williams, Avery. I would anticipate him being called up as soon as this weekend. We'll have to see about that. But hopefully he can secure the ball and not, fumble you. That'd be nice. All right. Well, now the Rams have the ball. It's 20-20. 9 minutes and 6 seconds remaining. Stafford just overthrew Adams on that one. Had him open. Just a terrible pass. Throw it to the outside, Stafford. Still almost caught it. 2nd down and 10 now. There's a routine one. But it'll be 3rd down and short. Clock is ticking down. 8:52, 51, and so on. Stafford in the shotgun on 3rd and 1 out of 11 personnel. They're throwing it, and he almost throws a pick. Jeez, that's interceptable. Very bad. 4th and 1, and they're punting. Man alive, what are they doing? They should have just run it up the middle like they had been all game. Instead, they have Stafford throw a near pick. Jesus. That was bad. That was a bad series for the quarterback there. No bueno. Throwing it over people's heads, throwing near interceptions. Oy. Now they punt it to the 1 yard line. So that's a good job by the puntadero. Let's put some heat on Jones and get a little pick. 20-20, Thursday night football, ladies and gentlemen. Thursday night football. Check something out. I think one of the things to watch is really this is week 5. Is Christian McCaffrey washed? Christian McCaffrey's averaging 2.8 yards per carry, ladies and gentlemen. That would be called no good. 20 carries for 56 yards. That is terrible. Terrible. 5 catches, 44 yards. So that's all right. But um, gotta wonder. These teams, they rely on McCaffrey so much. Then if he slips or gets hurt, they're left in the lurch. That's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the 49ers have the ball on the 2-yard line. McCorkle is in a shotgun, looks to his right over the middle and almost throws a pick. Holy smokes. Linebacker almost. They finally figured out, hey, he likes to go over the middle. Maybe we should cover that area of the field. They did so and almost got a pick. Now McCorkle looks to his right, throws one quickly, and gets Bourne on a quick slant. That's more of what they had in mind. But now it's 3rd down and 2, 1.5, 2. So they really got to convert here. Otherwise, they'll be giving really good field position to Stafford and the Rams. NFC West rivalry going right down to the wire. 3rd down and 1. McCorkle in the shotgun. They put a little pressure on him. He throws over the middle. That is a nice pass. Favorite target tonight by far, Kendrick Bourne. The Bourne prophecy. I give him a solid on that one. But just a little in-cutting slant, a little outside fake, goes right to the middle. Nicely done. And obviously not able to get home on Jones in terms of pressure. They came close, but not close enough. And Bourne got him again. Kendrick Bourne is over 100 yards, actually 132 on the night. That's a lot. Now Jones back to pass again. Looking, throws underneath to his fullback this time. Complete. Took it down at 6. 6 minutes remaining. Clock ticking away. Now he's under center, hands the ball to the running back, and it'll be 3rd down and 5. So obviously, big 3rd down here. You figure they're going to be throwing. Can you stop the underneath throws of the McCorkle man? We shall find out. That much we know. Well, they got a little bit of pressure on him, but not enough. He throws to McCaffrey, who rumbles down. And is able to pick up the 1st down very easily. They put McCaffrey in the slot. Just ran a little out route. No problem. Hard to cover. And McCorkle easily finds him. But they're only at the 50-yard line now. 4:32 remaining. Ball batted and hits the ground now. So 2nd down and 10. Now they're trying to get some pressure on him, so he just throws it over the middle. Bourne, his favorite target, between Bourne and McCaffrey. They're really in sync with that. So trying to speed him up's not working. I would say McCorkle's doing a really good job quickly finding his outlets before the pass rush can get home. Gouging him. Kendrick Bourne, 142 yards. Flag on the play. Legal man downfield. There's another penalty. There's another rule they need to get rid of. Legal man downfield. So dumb. Second down and 15 now. Took a shot on the outside, overthrew him. 10th bad pass of the night. Now, second down and 15 from the shotgun. He looks to drop it off, and he does a tight end middle screen. Doesn't get much. Jake Tanges, not exactly a big playmaker. Career high 142 yards for Kendrick Bourne. Hope you had him in fantasy. Hope you picked him in fantasy. That's a lot of points. All right, third down and 10. Probably out of field goal range now, or it would be difficult. So you really want to get a stop here. Oh, my goodness. And McCorkle almost threw him a cookie. Third interceptable pass tonight. So let's see if they're going to be able to go for the field goal here. Not sure what McCorkle was really looking at here. Was trying to go to the middle, but there were two defenders right there. Yeah, they are going to go Dinero Pinheiro, 59 yards. Let's see if he can strike this one. 2:57 remaining in the fourth quarter. Dinero Pinheiro. He got it. 59-yarder for Senor Dinero. Very nice. We could have had that guy. He wasn't good enough for us. Some reason. So that puts San Francisco up by 3, but there's plenty of time left in the fourth quarter for Stafford and the boys. They could tie it. They could go ahead. You never know. You never know. Check the Twitter machine. Yeah, there is a lot of talk about these K balls. There's new kicking balls this year. And of course, we have to have the worst of luck with them. But guys are making these 59-yarders, 60-yarders, and they're saying it's because of these different K balls that they're using. At some point, the NFL may be like, this is ridiculous with these long field goals here. That's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about. So, yeah. Just so happens they changed the K balls, and in the first game that we play, comes down to a 60-yard field goal, and a guy hits it. Of course, you know they use the old balls. Maybe he misses it. You ever think of that? You ever think of that one? All right, now Pinheiro is kicking off, and they do not return it, so they'll get it at the 35-yard line. So plenty of time remaining. Next week we'll get to chart. Oh, this will be fun. Next week we'll chart Jalen Hurts and Jackson Dart as the Eagles play the Giants. So we'll get an up close look at Mr. Jackson Dart, the rookie sensation of the New York Giants. Has all the Giant fans very excited about their future, perhaps. And we'll get to chart one of his games. So that'll be fun. But as for now, Matthew Stafford has a task of bringing the Rams back against this vaunted solid defense. There's a solid pass right there. Unakua for a first down. Rams are going to operate, obviously, out of 11 personnel and shotgun the rest of this game, pretty much. And there's a deep ball to Devontae. And now they're rolling. They could let this go down to the 2-minute warning, no problem. At the 36-yard line thereabouts, but they do one more play before the 2-minute warning, and I'm going to say that's a bad pass, but there's a flag. Flag on the play. Got to be a flag on the play. We've got a rules violation, everybody. Rules violation. Legal contact on the defense. Penalty declined, and then some other penalty, I guess. So it'll be a fresh set of downs for the Rams. And at this point, Shanahan, banana hands, got to be looking at Saleh going, what do you got for me, buddy? What do you got for me, buddy? That's how it works. That's how it works. All right. Game is back. 1st and 10. As Stafford tries to bring the Rams back. A minute 56 remaining. Plenty of time. Run it up the middle. It's Kyron Williams. He finds a seam to the right. Gets 10 yards, 15, about 20. So they're down to about the 10-yard line. And plenty of time remaining. Clock ticking. The 49ers might want to call timeout. However, they burned their timeouts and only have one remaining. So the Rams in good position here against Bobby Salads and his banged up defense. In fact, you may want to think about taking this play clock all the way down, making sure that you don't leave too much time for the opposing team. I would take it down further, 9, 8, 7. I would have taken it down further myself. But now Kyron Williams up the middle. And a couple more yards. Now there's a flag. Hands to the face on the defense. First down. Perhaps with these stupid calls. Mm, it's not a penalty. Why are they just calling penalties for no reason? That's not a penalty, doofuses. I'd like to once again put in a promo, put in an endorsement for Brandon Perna's product of coffee, which is called Fuck the Refs. Because, oh, did he fumble it? Wow, they're saying it's a fumble. He fumbled on the 1-yard line. He pulled the Jets. Holy smokes. Kyron Williams fumbled on the 1-yard line. You got to be kidding me with this shit. What in the world? Dude had a touchdown, has two hands on. Oh, my Lord. Basically the same thing that happened to Braylon Allen. Peanut punch. Ball comes out, 1-yard line. Guy falls on it. 49ers are going to win the luckiest game you've ever seen in your life. Ah, smokes. Jesus, man. He Braylon Allen it. That's for sure. So that's going to be it. Rams are going to go down. 49ers win. Mac Jones is amazing. Well, I guess they're going to try to call timeouts, but I mean, pretty much over. Fumble at the goal line. Peanut punch. Yeah, it's not just us, Howie. Other people screw up too. I mean, these defenses don't have much left that they can do to try to play defense these days. So the peanut punch is one thing they can do. So they all practice it like crazy, you know, these days. And the ball off to McCaffrey so he can lose another yard. This dude is, I mean, he's going to be averaging less than 2 yards per carry if this keeps up. Well, the difference, Howie, is that, like someone else said earlier, the Rams don't really have fans, so it's not exactly the same. The 6 fans who are diehards will be feeling some pain, Howie. But Christian McCaffrey is averaging 2.7 yards per carry. 2.7. Average in the NFL is 4.4. That is very bad. 21 rush, 56 yards. Not that 49er fans are going to care too much about that if they win this ball game, when they really should have lost it. 3rd and 8, and they run it to McCaffrey again. That's not going to help either, as far as that's concerned. Well, the game's not exactly over. 53 seconds. Timeout. They're going to get the ball with 40 seconds in good field position. This is not over. Stafford got to go be an assassin. And I would say stop running the ball, McVay. It's not running ball time now. It's give Stafford the ball time. You got Devontae Adams and Puka Nakua and Tutu Atwell, if you want to throw that in there. And and Stafford, one of the best throwers of the ball in the game. So, and you're not going to have that far to go. Well, now Morstead will probably boom one here. Good old Morstead. Yeah. Looks it. And yeah, it's at the 50. You're going to get good field position. Stumbles all the way to the, geez, just go down. You worry. But now they're already, oh, there's a flag. Of course, there's a fucking flag. Why there's too many of these damn flags? But still, 42 seconds, no timeouts. Oh, God, they call holding. I hate these fucking refs. Fuck the refs. These stupid morons. That's not holding. Well, maybe that part is. I mean, the guy was falling down. They need to stop calling these ticky-tack fouls. I swear to God. Hate these refs. Hate them. LOL, true. Max Style says the smackdown was laid down. Okay. All right, bud. You say so. I mean, now we got Stafford. I mean, he's got plenty of time to operate. 42 seconds. He's got no timeouts, though. He does have Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams and Tutu Atwell. Doesn't need that much yardage. Throws it deep into double coverage. Oh, my goodness. Now, how am I going to grade this throw? This was a good throw. I don't know why he's bombing it into double coverage, but at the same time, I think it's a good throw. I mean, you only need 10, 20 yards for a field goal. He's bombing it down there. How am I going to grade that throw? That's a great throw. Is it great or elite? I'm going to give it, it can't be perfect, so I'm going to say great. Oh, that was bad. Now you put yourself in a bad position. Now it's obviously 2 down territory. How about a nice little out route? we're we're trying to run these complicated routes. Just run something simple and go out of bounds. Get 10 yards. Now they drop it off to Williams. That's too little, too late, you dummy. Well, now it's 4th down. Now it's do or die. You should have done that kind of play on 1st down, dumb. Instead, you wanted to muscle up and throw it 100 yards down the field. Low percentage pass, even though I gave him credit for a great pass because it went, I mean, it was right in the wide receiver's hands. But all right, now it's 4th and 3. Game on the line. 25 seconds. Obviously, got to convert, or the game is over. Throws it over the middle. He's got a man. He takes it down to the 28-yard line. It's Kyron Williams. Now they need to spike it. 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, and they spike it. 12 seconds remain. Do they kick the field goal here or try one more play? They have no timeouts. Do you really want to run the fire drill thing to get the field goal team on? You might just want to kick it here. There's not enough time for them coming back if you make it. And if you run a play here and don't get out of bounds, well, you could still spike it, but it's going to be tricky. And then you got to run the field goal team on. Now there's a timeout. Now there's a timeout. Man, I'd be tempted to just kick it here. You had the stoppage of play already. Now you're going to have to rush this guy on. He's already missed one field goal. He's also had a extra point blocked. So there's your winning margin right there already with this kicking game. So maybe the special teams coach is going to get fired. I don't know. But it's second down and 10, 12 seconds remaining. Stafford into the huddle. It's at the 28-yard line or so. So it's a makeable field goal right from here if they don't get any more yards. Obviously, they got Puka and Devontae. They're 2-by-2 formation. He goes back and throws a deep pass. This was dumb. What if he caught it at the 2-yard line? You would have been screwed. I mean, you're going for the win, but still, sometimes we get a little too cute. It's possible he could have caught that, been tackled at the 2, and the time would have ran out. That would have been weird. But incomplete. So now Joshua Carty is on to attempt a 48-yard field goal. 6 seconds remaining. The ball is up, and it is bueno. We got bonus football, ladies and gentlemen. 23-23. Imagine if they didn't have a field goal blocked. Imagine if he didn't miss the other field goal. Amazing. Amazing. So many mistakes that the Rams made, and they're tied still. How many mistakes did the Rams make in this game? From fumbleias. And I think, you wonder with something like this about mental resiliency, right? The Jets had something similar. We fumbled at the goal line and we lose the game. And we did a lot of other bad things as well. But, the Rams had a fumble at the goal line. They had dropped passes all over the place. They had a missed field goal, a blocked extra point, and still they have the mental resiliency and toughness to come back and tie it at the end of regulation anyways. So I think there is something to that. And what is that all about? And how does our team get it? And how do they have it? And how come we don't? And it may just come down to the quality of the quarterback, more than anything. A guy who he's Matthew frickin' Stafford. I mean, but I don't know. Now they're talking about something. But that's the end of regulation, ladies and gentlemen. Squatch says, you, bueno. Bueno and Plano. Yeah. And think about it. Kyron Williams is the guy who fumbled on the goal line. He was still out there, on that last possession and made a key play. 2 plays that I remember, but one very big play over the middle. So, in other words, what about the mental toughness and resiliency of Kyron Williams? Matthew Stafford out there with Fred Warner, two of the greats of the game, ladies and gentlemen. 49ers thought they had it won when they did a peanut punch on Kyron Williams at the 1-yard line. Sound familiar? Happened to Braylon Allen as well. But they left too much time on the clock. And really, when they ran those three conservative plays, running plays, they were at their own 1-yard line. But they ran three running plays up the middle pretty much. And with the timeouts the Rams had, forced them to punt. And Stafford, with 42 seconds thereabouts, was able to make him pay. Although he tried a couple of passes that were probably ill-advised, I would say, for my tastes anyway. But nonetheless, they went incomplete, and they were able to move the ball enough to get into field goal range and kick the field goal, indeed. So now we'll go to overtime. Why not? Bonus football on a Thursday night. As it's getting late here in the East Coast of America, it's currently 23:23 hours, otherwise known as 11:23 p.m. on the East Coast of America, and we still got football. 10-minute quarter, if you will, 10-minute period. If the first team scores a field goal, the other team gets the ball. If the first team scores a touchdown, I think the other team still gets the ball. It used to be they didn't. You must get one possession, I believe is the current rules. You must get one possession of the ball at least in overtime. Otherwise, it's deemed unfair. Not fair. Used to be back in the day, it was sudden death overtime. We're not allowed to use the word sudden death or coffin corner or anything like that. It's too violent. We're not allowing that anymore. We're going from football to wuss ball. And no more coffin corners, no more sudden death overtime. Everybody must touch the ball equally and fairly in the overtime period. It's totally unfair to have a sudden death overtime. We want a long, slow death overtime, I guess. So now they will kick it off. The Rams are kicking to the 49ers. So the Niners get the ball first, and then the Rams will then know, based on what the 49ers do with this possession, what they have to do. Do they need a field goal to win it? Do they need a touchdown to tie it, et cetera, et cetera? So I guess the advantage really is for the team getting the ball second, because then you know for sure what you have to do. Now, there's another flag. They didn't kick it far enough on this stupid new kickoff rules, which is also completely dumb. Can you tell that they're ruining football? Can we just go back to the old ways of kicking the ball off to people? Ball did not go far enough, didn't land in the landing zone. There's a landing zone like an airport. So that's quite an advantage for McCorkle Jones as he comes on to lead the 40 Winers. Christian McCaffrey still out there with his 2.7 yards per carry. Very, very bad. But he does have decent receiving stats on the day. Kendrick Bourne's been the star of the day on offense for the 49ers with over 140 yards receiving. McCorkle now looks for his fullback. It's Juszczyk, and he gets about 12 yards on that one. Over the middle. Not a check down. So good start for McCorkle as he looks to work on these Rams defenders. Already over 300 yards on the day. So that'll get some fans excited. Whenever a quarterback throws 300 yards, fans go crazy. Now he throws it out to McCaffrey. McCaffrey takes it for 15, 16, 17 yards. So the check down offense still working out pretty good for the 49ers. Yeah, just leak out a running back, throw it out there. Guy missed a tackle. Number one. Can't do that, senor. Looking quite jetsy, jetsish. McCaffrey does have 75 yards on the air, so you got to give him that. But his running out of the backfield has been poor. Now another check down to Tonjes, gets about 5 or 6 yards. Time ticking down. Second down now. Rams have really had no answer all night for the check down ways of McCorkle Jones. Up to 329 yards on 31 completions. 31 out of 46, 329 for the dick kicking man. He's now in the shotgun, 11 personnel, quick over the middle, check down again over to Tonjes, and that's a first down, it looks like. And it's first down and 10. Can the Rams do anything to disrupt the timing of this man? How about a little timely blitz? How about a blitzorama? How about a blitzapalooza? Let's disrupt McQuirkle here. Let's get a little sack. Whatever happened to sacking the quarterbacking? You have to wonder. And they just rush four, and again, a check down to McCaffrey. He's just going to check down his way to the end zone, you guys. Wake up, Rams. Haven't we figured this out yet? He checks it down every time, dummies. If he throws it to the outside, you tip your cap to him if he hits it. Challenge him. God's sakes, they're at the 15-yard line already. I wonder where he's going to throw the ball. He's going to check it down in the middle. Hey, we got some pressure. All right, there's a sack. Got more of that. You need to do more of that. Third down. Now they're in field goal range, so if they don't convert here, obviously they'll kick the field goal. Jared Verse. No, it was one of the DTs, not Verse, who got home. I want to save your energy. Stop doing a sack dance for 5 minutes. You got more plays to go, buddy. Third down and 12. Can they stop the check down mastery of McQuirkle Jones? Let's see. They're threatening a blitz. They do not come. They're just blitzing four. They get close and incomplete pass. And McCorkle took a shot. With his heavily taped ankles and knee brace and everything else. And looks like maybe he's concussed. He was bending over. That looks concussion-ish. Or something. Something going on with McCorkle. So now they'll try a field goal. 41-yarder for Pinheiro. Hits the upright, but still good. So that gives him the lead. Now that'll put pressure on the Rams. 26-23. Let's see what Stafford can do. Can he pull out a touchdown for the win, or will Salah's defense come up with a key stop? Pinheiro hit the upright, but clinked right in there. A doinker. A dink, a doink, dinero for Pinheiro. You know. Jones was really lucky that wasn't picked off. Probably should have just taken the sack, but saved some yards. Did save some yards. Gotta say that. Seems like the doctors are Sort of like always looking at Jones when he goes over to the sidelines. And they bring out this kick about the 34-yard line. So Stafford will get a chance now. In the old days, that would have been it. Game over. Sudden death. Sorry, play defense. Well, not anymore. It's not fair. It's not fair. Sudden death isn't supposed to be fair. It's sudden death. Oh, we're not allowed to say sudden death anymore. Oh, okay. So here goes Stafford now. 5:46 remaining. Time not an issue. 2 timeouts. 11 personnel. Throws to Nakua. And that's a good drive starter. That's about 8 or 9 yards. So it'll be second and short, second and 1. Now he takes Kyron, puts him out of the backfield. Back to Bass, looking, can't find anybody. Twirls around, now throws a deep ball. And he's got Tutu Atwell. That's an elite throw. My goodness. This is vintage Stafford right here. And they're already down to about maybe the 15-yard line. 1, 2. Yep, he's in. So first down and 10 now. They're already in field goal range. They are at the 20-yard line, they put it. Now back to pass again. Oh, that was dangerous. Is that bad or interceptable? Bad or interceptable? Just going to put bad. Man, you'd love for him to cut down on these risky passes. I mean, field goal ties it, touchdown wins it. You'd think you'd like to have some sort of underneath throw here. Well, there it is, but it was late and only picks up 3 yards or so. And third down. And again, if they don't get it, they could kick the field goal. And I guess we keep playing on. 4 minutes and 26 seconds remaining. And if they do kick a field goal, then I believe it's the next score wins. You don't get multiple opportunities. You just get guaranteed one opportunity to score. Here comes a blitz. Oh, boy. They threw it underneath to Williams. And you saw what happened there. It wasn't actually a blitz. It was Bryce Huff coming off the edge as a closer for Saleh. Like the old days. But he couldn't get home. They threw it. It's 4th down and 1. They're going to go for it. They're not going to go for the tying field goal, apparently. Not sure about this decision. It's a long one. Did they draw him off sides? I guess somebody called timeout. So they called timeout before they drew him off sides. Are they looking to draw him off sides? Do they want to? And this is pretty risky. 4th down and 1. Game on the line. Game on the line. You got the Bugatti Bryce Huff on the other side. Do you really want to go take a chance that you're going to get a pass off here? Or are you willing to risk a run? They're in 11 personnel, man in motion. 15 seconds on the play clock. I don't think they're going to run this. Stafford is not. Nope. Now what? They couldn't get him to go off sides. Shanahan was smart with that timeout. Keep his guys from doing something stupid, basically. So now they're going to do what? Kicker is not coming on the field, it looks like. So they're going to run a play, apparently. Yeah, if Stafford's on the field, they're going to call something. Well, let's see what McVay has in the old bag here. Game on the line, 4th and 1, overtime. They hand the ball off. They are stupid. You got to be kidding me. The game on the line, that's what you're calling? Totally dumb. Take the ball out of the hands of Stafford and run it up the middle. Ugh. Take the field goal. Why are people so stupid? Take the field goal and then play defense. Man, I don't know. The Rams kind of blew that one, in my opinion. Too many mistakes. Missed field goal, blocked extra point, fumble at the goal line, stupid play calling, and banana hands. Gets it. I mean, of course, they see this. They're going to sell out. I mean, crazy. You're trying to run with 11 personnel on the field. Totally lucky. But they're 4 and 1, so I guess they're doing something right. All right, thanks for joining tonight for this game. We'll continue to do these Thursday night games and the Monday night games as well as we continue to work on our quarterback charting. Please join the members only section, the join button down below, different membership levels, and you can get all sorts of exclusive items, including exclusive videos. In fact, most of the videos on this channel go to the members. So please consider joining. FSPN, Frankie, out.